Discovery, go and throttle up.
Streaming by today, building dreams its own way. Bakalaka starts the plan. He's creating a new land. Glitches and streams, they tune in fast. Communist republics from the past. He will rise to lead the way. Bakalaka on every day. Greatest ever, he's the man. AJ's got the winning plan. He will prevail, he will succeed. Bakalaka stands the creed. Followers shout with all their might. AJ's vision shining bright. From the east to every coast, Bakalaka stands they toast. Greatest ever, he's the man. AJ's got the winning plan. He will prevail, he will succeed. Bakalaka stands the creed. Followers shout with all their might. AJ's vision shining bright. From the east to every coast, Bakalaka stand they toast. Greatest ever, he's the man. AJ's got the winning plan. He will prevail, he will succeed. Bakalaka stands the creed. Monitors hum with electric light. AJ's bringing dark to bright. In the chat, they give their cheer. Bakalaka stand is near. It's near. It's creed. It's near. Bakalaka stands the creed.
You know what? I don't feel like playing that one. How about this one? Does this one work? Oh, this is a good song. One more and then we start.
In a desert land so grand, EJ's got the master plan. building dreams from oil and sand. Workers, resources in hand. Refinance clean with a gleam, making cities from a stream. Sweat and grit is how it seems, living out his wildest dreams. Heat is on in Bakalaka, Dagestan. We're building oil towers like a man with EJ at the helm, it's all in hand. In Bakalaka, Dagestan, we stand. Night and day, the grind won't stop. Concrete rising to the top. Mighty power in a drop. EJ hitting jackpot non-stop, streaming live. His empire grows in every borough, every close. From dusty plains to finance shows, EJ's name everyone knows. He is on in Bakalaka, Dagestan. We're building oil towers like a man with EJ at the helm, it's all in hand. In Bakalaka, Dagestan, we stand. Night and day, the grind won't stop. Concrete rising to the top. Mighty power in a drop. EJ hitting jackpot non-stop, streaming live. His empire grows in every borough, every close. From dusty plains to finance shows, EJ's name everyone knows. He is on in Bakalaka, Dagestan. We're building oil towers like a man with EJ at the helm, it's all in hand. In Bakalaka, Dagestan, we stand. We stand.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Space and Rocket Review. Space and Rocket Review. You two girls, tell your friends. 555, read you loud and clear. Right on. Right on. Okay, so two things. One, I'm very short today because I'm still in the racing rig because we're playing Summer Car after this. The stuff that I had originally, activities that I originally slated for after hours, which I was not going to do today, I got done. So we got Space News and Summer Car today. Yeah. I've had a day, but yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is space. So Rockets and Redstone, 10-month resub. Thank you very much. All right. Video from yesterday. Okay. I will add that to my queue of space news. There's some pretty big stuff today, but I wanted to start with what happened 2 days ago. Let's just organize all this. So, hope the news is good. Yeah, news is all right. Nothing like space news to improve a bad day, or any day, really. Yep. I am new here. Hello. Okay, so let's get into it here. So, on Sunday, SpaceX launched the NG-23 mission for Cygnus. This was a Northrop Grumman ISS resupply vehicle being launched on a SpaceX Falcon 9. This vehicle was originally supposed to... Cygnus was originally launching on Antares, and then Antares, you know, stop existing
Discovery,
and
go
will
and
be
throttle up.
replaced with Eclipse MLV from Firefly sooner rather than later. But for now, Cygnus is flying on. Excuse me. Cygnus is flying on Falcon 9. Now, couple of things. Hey, Rockets of Redstone, 10-month resub. Arc Blue with a 68-month resub. Stop. Yep. They didn't drop the Cygnus. Yes. That's probably a good thing. The cool thing about this Cygnus is that it's not Cygnus. It's Bigness. So Cygnus was originally, when it first launched on the earlier versions of Antares, was 2 rungs. If you notice, the Cygnus is made up of 2 principal components. You have your service module down here, and then you have your pressurized volume up here. The pressurized volume, you could tell that this one is 4 rungs. Cygnus was originally 3 rungs, and then when Antares 230 Plus started flying, they upgraded it to 4 rungs. 1, 2, 3, or 3 rungs, and now this version was the first version to fly with 4 rungs. So that's why I call this Bigness. That did launch on Sunday. I tried to watch it from my backyard. It did fly within visual of me, but I didn't see it. So here, Goalie has some footage here. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, there we go. Bigness. They did awesome with the tracking. Yes, they did. They definitely have room for more in that fairing. That's right, they do. Bigness. I just like saying Bigness. I'm sorry. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what I enjoy. All right. All right. So, oh, very good. Goalie, this is great. Great track. So this was Booster 1094 completing its 4th flight. It did do an RTLS. Down with the bigness. Where'd the Cygnus hat? Oh, it's behind this. Don't make me get up. I don't want to get up. I just want to listen to the sound. The SpaceX commentator kept calling it Dragon. What? Really? Okay. No, it was a NASA person. Yeah, that sounds more accurate. Logan, no, I'm good. It goes to the space station, so it's got to be Dragon. Okay. All right. So let's get to the good stuff. There's Miko. Oh, don't lose it. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. Oh, yes. RTLS, boost back. Oh, that's sick. That's the first stage turning around and coming back towards us. Second stage just going to keep going. Great shot, Goalie. This is fantastic. Vesper, you're playing... Wait, hold up. Pause for a second. You're playing BF6 on Battlefield Labs right now. Holy dude, this game's crazy. New maps and Portal, amazing. Portal, someone managed to use Battlefield 2042 rocket launch map and modify it. It's literally like playing around KSC 39A. How are you playing? Wait, you're playing BF6 right now? Huh. Well, that's cool. We did play in the beta on stream. It was fun. How are you playing BF6 right now? Can I play with you? Can I play with you or something? It's Battlefield Labs. Oh. Vesper, I can see that link. Hold up. It's a community development collaboration. Select number of fans step inside the war room. Oh, nice. Good for you, dude. That's awesome. I'm glad. Dude, BF6 seems like a real return to form. I'm actually pretty dang happy. From the beta testing that we did on stream when I played it, it definitely very much seemed played like a Battlefield. Just absolute meat grinder chaos 24/7. That's that's Battlefield. That's what makes Battlefield fun. Nice to see you on the Stationeer Steam update article. Yeah. Manfield, I think you may be interested to know that the time between a potential GTA 6 release and GTA 5 release is greater than the gap between GTA San Andreas release and the year it was set in. That's what? Why would you bring this up? Why would you dingleball? It's open actually. You can sign up for it. It takes 24 hours till you get a link to download it. Also, did you see the PC trailer that got dropped? No, I have not. We can check that later when we switch over to the EJ Space and Battlefield review. We can derail the stream for Battlefield 6. That's fine. Okay, wind noise. All right, let's get to the good stuff. Goalie, where's the good stuff? Give me the goods. Give me the goods. Here's the good stuff. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. I'm gonna move over here. Does EJ look smaller today? I'm in the racing rig, Mark. So I'm like not up in my chair. Supersonic retro goalie! Supersonic retro propulsion. That is sick, dude. Look at that thing fly. Look at it fly! Oh, that's badass! Lord. I don't know, Smile, maybe. Go, Gilly, goalie, goalie. There we go. There we go. Oh, look at her foot. Goalie! Look at it fly. Oh, that's sick, dude. This is good. This is a good track. Except when it's not. Okay. Give it a second. Should start the landing burn here momentarily. There it is. Clouds, clouds, clouds. Flag. Falg. Falg. Left. 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 No, left. Your other left. That's up. We'll hear it here in a second. Rock. See? Told you. Cool. That's awesome. That was the NG-23 landing on Sunday. Here. Here's the rest of it. Bruh. Dude, the noise, the freaking, the sand dispersant. Oh, that's crazy. Super cool. You're sure NSF got the whole track? Yeah. Here, let me go into yeah, here we go.
Crazy to see.
Crazy.
There comes the entry burn. That's one engine. And that's 3 engines. That's the shield. Like, that's the fire shield protecting it against the heat.
That's right, Adrian, it is!
Supersonic retro propulsion.
Cody, don't steal my line again or I'll slap you.
Crazy. And that's shutdown. And now you see that booster really like... Now it gets into this atmospheric... Look at that angle of attack.
Oh, that's good. That's quite good. And then WD-40 got a side view.
Oh, look at that view, though.
Yeah.
That's a long entry burn.
Yes, it is.
Supersonic retro propulsion.
What the hell, WD? Why is everybody stealing my line? Stop stealing my line. No, it's fine. It's cool. But also, SpaceX had a nasty track of this. It is. Watch this.
You just heard the call out for the landing burn start on the Falcon 9 first
Here, hold on,
stage.
let me back it up.
Go on landing burn.
Bro!
You just heard the call out for the landing burn start on the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will see before landing.
You've got to be kidding me. I haven't watched this on a full, 4K screen. I only watched it on my phone. Oh my god, it's better now. Bro, that is something else!
Landing confirmed.
And that was another successful landing of our Falcon 9 rocket.
Go on landing burn.
You just heard the call out for the landing burn start on the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will see before landing.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Just
on landing leg deploy.
oh.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing leg deploy. 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 Deploy.
Huh? What? What? Stop it.
Landing leg deploy.
Stop it! Don't stop looking at me like that. Deploy. Wish it had audio. Dude, there was one that I was just showing a second ago that has audio. Hold up. It's this one right here. Check it out. Oh, nice and smooth, dude. That's nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Oh. All the sand hitting the microphone. It's very pleasing. It's very pleasing to the ears. You should look at the stage separation views. They got the fairings falling away. Well, they usually get that, dude. I had the deploy teed up here. So this is the deployment of bigness.
We should be hearing that call out shortly for payload deployment of the Cygnus spacecraft.
Fluffy, you don't even want to know the half
Cygnus
of it, homie.
separation confirmed.
Bingo.
And there you have it, a successful spacecraft separation. The Cygnus spacecraft is now on its way to the International Space Station, and as mentioned, is expected to arrive about
Bigness.
60 hours from now. With successful separation, that's going to do it for me.
Oh. In the trailer, they're showing new maps of guns and classes. Engineer can control a robot to destroy mines and comm stations. Recon class has a drone that you can ask your teammates to stack C4s on it. You can take it near spawn station and it gets 20 kills. Oy. Yeah, the desk at Hawthorne Creeper is a vibe, for sure. It's a vibe. It's a little strange, but it's all right. What's that venting from the right side as the legs drop in the NASA track?
Go on landing burn. Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
So that's a purge. That's the purge out on the E5 engine. I think. Let me take a look. Might be something else. Hold on. Is it a single engine landing burn?
On the Falcon 9 first stage. Again, this is the final burn that this booster will see before
Yeah,
landing.
it's just a single engine, so it's not a purge out. It's let me see. Landing leg deploy.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And that was another.
I don't know, dude. It's the engines have vent lines. They have vent lines that come out the sides. So like if they're trying to chill down these engines, there are vents on the side, like on each engine, like on the Merlin vacuum, you know, those vents. That's one of them. It looks like the E5 engine, but I'm not sure. Turbo pump exhaust that's not lit is a little weird. It should be sooty, Bill. It should look like a diesel truck. Do you happen to know the TWR Falcon 9 has on a single engine landing burn? It's like 0.98 or something like that. Yeah, it's actually not above 1. I know that. I forget exactly what it is. The one with the sound shows it a little better. Okay. We can check it. Check it out. All right, let's bring this up. Guys, it does that. That's just that happens. It's just we very rarely get to see it this close. It might be gas generator exhaust, but it's not the right color. My guess is that that's a chill down line. Okay, this is this is gonna sound strange. This is a guess. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I know what it is, but I don't know why they're doing it. That is one of the vent lines from one of the engines. It's the chill down line. So like, once again, the Merlin vacuum has the vents that are up on the sides, right? And you see solid oxygen accumulate on them from time to time. So that either indicates if there's solid oxygen accumulating on it, they are chilling down an engine. If it just makes a puff, right, that means they're purging out an engine. But you're not obviously going to get solid oxygen. You're not going to get oxygen solidification in the atmosphere, so it's just going to look like a white cloud of gaseous oxygen. If I had to guess, so that engine is either being, one of the side engines on Falcon 9 is either being chilled down or it's being purged out. Now, why? Why would that be a thing? So if you're purging out an engine there, that doesn't really make sense, because what engine did you just shut off? They did burn one engine on the entry burn, but that was a minute ago. The engine should have been purged down by now. Now we only see the lines. That only seems to be a thing when the landing legs open. So if I had to guess, that they probably chilled down one of the other engines that has thrust vector control. So my guess would be the E5 motor. So Falcon 9 has it's the 3 engines that they use for landing. There's the E1 is over here. The E5 is over here, and the E9 engine is the one in the center. That's the center engine on Falcon 9. You know, when the thing is doing its landing burn, right, it fires one engine, then it fires 3 engines, then it fires 1 engine again. I would do it with these, but then, you know, like 1, 3, 1. You get the idea. But if the TWR is above 1, wouldn't it slam into the ground? If it's above 1, that means it's going up, Peter. Think about it. Falcon 9 is just enough to slow down. It's not enough to go up. So if I had to guess, engine out capability, if I had to guess, they're probably that engine is probably being purged. They're probably purging that engine with helium because the E9 engine lit, so there's no need to light it. I'll bet you it's engine out capability. It's clearly something that's on SpaceX's mind. They did it with Super Heavy on the last flight. I did hear some whispers that Booster 16 is still floating out in the ocean somewhere. Well, pieces of it, because it exploded, but you get the idea. It's way above 1 at landing on the suicide burn. Keep telling yourself that. That's normal. That's the engine fire suppression system, using helium from the COP bottles on top to snuff any flame in case there's a leak in the engine bay. That sounds more applicable to what we're talking about here, considering Merlin reliability. Think about all the fuel maps they have to average out. I mean, dude, the rocket engine, dude, they... Petrie, I'm not trying to say that these Merlin engines have a Holly Terminator attached to the side, but that's pretty much what's going on. It's just proprietary SpaceX. They're not going to share their fuel mapping avionics with us, but yeah, they you can definitely increase your flow rate with a open cycle gas generator like the Merlin. You can tune some things. You're gonna have a little bit of trouble with AFR. The AFR is always going to be fixed. You could just increase flow. You can increase the duty cycle of your injector, so to speak. But yeah. Why purge with helium instead of nitrogen? Helium's lighter, Martin. Lighter. Way lighter. I used lighter very sparingly because it's not about weight, it's about mass. Weight has nothing to do with it. Yeah, fire suppression systems, Baron's probably right. That sounds right. I mean, it could be engine out, but it's fire suppression is probably more, that's probably a better guess. I'm probably wrong. But I mean, it's not to say that they're not doing that. I'm just not really sure how Merlin is going to, like, if the E5 engine fired because the E9 engine is out, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to land. Helium is also much rarer, ... Yeah, that's why they're using nitrogen with Starship. They use the fire suppression system at liftoff, supersonic retro propulsion, and landing. It's a small design it's not like a dedicated fire suppressant system. It's using the ullage tanks, so that's fine. Yeah, whatever. I also thought they had higher than 1 TWR, so much so that they need time to ignite. They need time to ignite engine shutdown well enough to not overshoot and go back up. No. If your TWR is above, guys, you can still decelerate with your TWR not above 1. You will still decelerate, fellas. This is something that people have some trouble with, it seems. You can still have below 1.0 TWR and slow down for the ground in time. What you don't want to do, so, okay, how do I explain this? Maybe next week I can show you guys what I mean with KSP. Long story short, the booster, you never, ever want to approach 1.0 TWR during a Falcon 9's descent. You never want to do that. The reason why you never want to get near it is because if you start to do that, you're losing stability. You lose stability big time. Falcon 9 gains a lot of stability in the form of the momentum that is generated from the offset center of gravity. So, look, I got a water bottle, right? If the water bottle's empty and, you do your bottle flip, do kids still do that? I don't know. right? The thing will naturally want to stabilize like this. When your rocket engine is firing, you don't want it to counteract too much of the momentum that's generated from that force, but you also have to stop from the ground. It's a very, very delicate balancing act, dude. So let me drink some of this water and I'll show you what I mean. So this thing naturally, like if you drop it, right? And what is this but Falcon 9? Falcon 9's full of water, right? If you drop it, it's going to naturally want to fly bottom first because gravity's pushing all the liquid to the bottom. Simultaneously, if you did something like this, it'll do that as well. But it's not just about fuel and oxygen. There's 9 engines down at the bottom, so there's like a huge counterweight down here. You never want to stop that downward momentum. If you stop that downward momentum, Falcon 9 will lose stability. It will lose stability pretty badly. It'll want to basically do this. It'll go off to the sides. That's why some Falcon 9 landings appear to land a little bit rough, because you're never going above 1.0 TWR. You never want to lose that. You never want to lose the you never want to lose the downward momentum. The second you lose downward momentum is the second you crash. The second the booster will start flipping over. It'll do here, let me show you. This is a little bit of a different scenario, but this is from SpaceX's How Not to Land an Orbital Rocket Booster. This is a great video. You should watch it. So F9 RDEV 2, you lose your downward momentum. This is what happens. And this one happened on the way up, but it could happen on the way down if your TWR goes above 1.0. Check that out. It'll do that. It'll just lose complete stability. And do that. But if Falcon 9 is being pulled down by gravity at 1.0, at 1G, let's say it has 0.98 TWR, doesn't it mean it would still end up accelerating downwards at 0.2G and not actually slowing down? Yeah, and that's where the landing legs absorb the impact. Yes. Why does it go pop? They terminated the flight because it started flying in a direction they don't want. Are you sure it's not greater than 1? Yes. Yes, I'm sure. I'm telling you, dudes. Okay, look. This is not a flex, nor is this like a primary source, nor does this prove any point. I've landed a ton of these things in KSP. The second you start going up is the second you really have a problem. You can decelerate at 0.9 TWR and still basically hit 0 right at the ground if you timed it correctly. Now, I've never been able to do that in KSP. I always crash because I'm not a computer. I'm a synth. There's a difference, okay? Trust me, dudes. I know it doesn't. I know it seems counterintuitive. It seems like bro, there's no way that's what's going on. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. If they decelerate at like 0.9 TWR, right? You're still gonna have some inherent acceleration when you hit when you get close to the ground, right? Just a little bit though. It never goes above 1. You don't ever want to go above 1 ever when you get near the ground. Because if you do and you start going up, it'll flip. That absolutely does happen. That will happen. That's physics, dudes. I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Kines Call reveals inaugural Callisto flight test pushed to 2027. Darren, let's point and laugh at them. I'm telling you, I know it doesn't make sense. I'll show it to you in KSP. That is absolutely what's going on. The landing legs, that difference, fellas, is that the landing legs take the impact. They're designed to take a little bit of an impact. Like a shock absorber almost. Is it relative to the current velocity? TWR1 stays the same velocity until above 1. No. It's not like they're tuning the engine to be just at 1.0 TWR. That's just inherent to the design. If higher to TWR than 1. Yep, okay. I don't know how to explain this any better. DJ is wrong. At less than 1 TWR, the rocket would gain velocity downwards. Yep. Yes, yep. All right. It's going to be that kind of day, huh? Okay. All right. You guys just go keep saying I'm wrong. That's fine. I don't care. It's fine. It's clear that I can't explain it good enough now, but that's fine. Yeah, no, sure. You're right. I mean, go keep spreading misinformation. That's fine. It's okay. It's all right, dudes. It's all right. Let's go on to the next thing.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I'm telling you, fellas, like, I'm not just saying this just to try to prove a point. Like, I'm not just saying this because, oh, I can't be wrong. I've been wrong about many things. I'm not wrong about this. I would not be putting my foot down like this if I wasn't sure. I'm telling you, Falcon you do not want to go above 1.0 TWR. I know this because I have this conversation when somebody at SpaceX explained this to me once. Because I was equally confused. The long story short is you do not want to lose your downward momentum. It has to be going down all the way to the ground. If it's not, if you're above 1.0, you're running the risk of destabilizing the booster physically. Like, it'll flip. Telling you. Like, I'm not just saying this for my health, man. Also funny. It's bigness, dude. Yeah. I'll give you a demonstration in KSP sometime. Let's go. Anyway, this next thing is coming from PLD Space. All right, PLD. Successful burst test of the Mira 5 Stage 1 liquid oxygen tank. We've successfully completed the burst test of the Stage 1 LOX tank for the Mira 5. This milestone validates structural performance of the tank under cryogenic temperature and extreme pressure conditions, and it paves the way for full-stage tank integrated qualification models, including all elements needed for flight. With this achievement, we continue to make solid progress towards the development of Mira 5. The test rotura criogénica superada con éxito del tanque de LOX de Mira 5. Oh, wait, that's just it in Spanish. Sorry. Hemos completado con éxito la prueba de rotura de tanque de oxígeno. Nice. Hover slam is obviously one that greater than. Yeah, you just keep holding on to that, dude. That's fine. Can we stop talking about this before I leave? Because I'm getting kind of annoyed that you keep saying I'm wrong and I know I'm not. But yeah, I mean, keep doing it. I'll just go. I got other stuff to do. Someone please call Alex. Starver, I understand why people may be confused about TWR. It's a college physics problem, not a high school physics problem. Hey, Snarfer, it is what it is, man. I'll have to show you guys in KSP, dude. I'll have to show you. It's hard to explain. It's very counterintuitive. It's just one of those things. It's like when you're first learning about orbital mechanics and you speed up at perigee. That slows you down. Accelerating at perigee in the posigrade vector slows you down. Yes, accelerating slows you down. That happens because of how gravity... It's counterintuitive, I'm telling you. The transfer run stream from last Wednesday had the G-force for the screen on landing. If I'm not misunderstanding it, I think it shows what you're saying with the TWR below 1.0. Yeah, maybe, Scott. Like, but that's not going to explain it for people, you know? Like, if I may ask, would the same thing work on the moon without atmosphere? Could you have less than 1 TWR? Yes. Atmosphere has nothing to do with it, Marcon, because at those speeds, when landing... So... The first part of a landing burn is used to slow down. When you get to a certain point, right around the landing leg deploy, the aerodynamics aren't a thing anymore. You're going too slow for the grid fins, for your aerodynamic control surfaces to do anything. That's why they lock. They lock into place right before landing leg deploy. Watch it next time. That's what happens. So it's a physics problem at that point. So yes, the same thing would happen on the moon, atmosphere or not. I mean, like I said, Falcon 9 shares its family tree with the LEM. Where do you think they learned how to vertically land something? They looked at the LEM, and they looked at what that thing did. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Mira 5 kept going with their LOX tank. That's cool. That's cool that they're making good progress, and I hope I wish them the best here. All right. Hang on. I want to see what that notification is. What's the notification? The notification is that I went live. Cool. If it's true in KSP, it's true in real life. That is like the farthest thing from what I said, Ryan, but that's fine. There is a video of the burst test. Oh, yeah? All right, let's see it pop. I can't play that music. It'll get claimed. So there's the Mira 5 LOX tank. They put a catch net around it. That's kind of funny. Ooh, look at that. Hydraulically controlled. Wow, fancy. Fancy generator light. Hydraulic control. Look at you. It's not a crank. Oh, there it goes. Yep, it's gone. Mira is Spanish. Yeah, PLD is a Spanish spaceflight company, which is pretty cool. Wasn't the lunar module the first throttleable spacecraft? I don't know. Do you count the X-15? X-15 as a throttleable engine. And technically before that, the ME-163 has a throttleable one too, if I'm remembering correctly. I've seen this somewhere before. Yeah, I don't think it was on purpose though, K3. Boof! Boof! I don't want to go. I don't know. I don't think that's liquid oxygen, guys. They're I think that was GN2, gaseous or LN2, liquid nitrogen. It's a pretty good. It's a good enough analog for testing. Really, it depends on the landing config. If it's a single engine burn, it's a TWR less than 1 for precision and control, but it's wind sensitive and pending on available prop. If it's a 3-engine landing, then switch to 1. TWR starts at 1.3, but dropping below 1 as propellant burns 137 kilograms a second. This sub-unity TWR slows the descent to about 1 to 2 meters a second at cutoff. Legs handle the final impact. Thank you. There you go. Right there. Boom. Telling you, dudes, I don't do this out of some pride thing. I'm wrong about stuff all the time. Is there a reason you do the pressure test at night? I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe that's when they got a TFR. Solar heating? Yeah, John, that was my first thought, but what? You're going to do testing at night and then launch the rocket during the daytime? Like, what happens when you go to launch the rocket during the daytime? You know? Maybe testing at night will give them the best result because of solar heating. That'll get the coldest it'll ever go, you know? Who knows? Easier to control the temperature. Yeah, I definitely believe that, Spoiled. But is that going to give you good testing when you need to launch something during the day? That's my question. Could also be because the range for aircraft was closed then. That's my guess, Sea Kraken. Yeah, that would be my guess. That's when they got a TFR. Night has it has better visuals. That's technically Golden Hour would have the best visuals, but you know what I didn't know, Rudy? I didn't know that 3-engine is only 1.3 TWR. You'd think it'd be more, but it's really not. That's actually super interesting. Maybe it's 1.3 for loading on the booster. They don't want to pancake it. Well, once again, fellas, they're always going to land on 1 engine. They tried landing on 3 engines back in the day. It didn't work too well. Dude, like I said, guys, I was around and basically like Alex levels of tank watching when it came to Falcon 9 like 10 years ago. I'm not telling you I know the nuts and bolts of that damn thing, but I know the nuts and bolts of that damn thing. I know how it goes together. I've stood inside of a freaking octaweb, for Christ's sake. Like, I don't think I've ever told you guys that, but I couldn't film it, so did it really happen, right? Like, I'm a content creator. If I don't have any photo of Pixar, it didn't happen, you know? Like, you want to hear something even cooler? It was Tycom 8's octaweb. Oh yeah, stood inside of it when they were refurbishing it at Hawthorne to be a Falcon Heavy side booster. There you go. Like, I don't just make this stuff up, fellas. That's correct, faux pace. But the landing legs are designed to tank the impact. There's some damping with the landing legs, I'm telling you. Wait, so the landing legs are no longer hover slant? They never were, dude. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I wouldn't put my foot down like this out of some like pride or ego thing. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong, but I'm not. Like, you know, the only time it goes above 1.0 TWR is the 3-engine landing bird. And now that I didn't think of. I forgot about the 3-engine landing birds because everything is a single burn nowadays. Do you know where they do testing? I actually don't, boss. I have no idea. Hey, Shaw. I'm all right. The 3-engine landing burn is usually used if the weather is pretty bad in the landing area, but it's pretty stressful on the structure. You deep throttle the engines to ease the stress. Yep. Yeah, Rudy. So it's like light them and then throttle them back after light. Yeah, I got you. Why'd they move away? Isn't it more efficient? Well, from what Rudy's saying over there, it sounds like stress on the vehicle. So, Seacracker, do you remember the post-Apollo Saturn vehicle, the Prometheus vehicle? That, but in real life, it'll rip the octaweb apart. Or, well, break it, crack it, most likely, if I had to guess. Rudy, thanks for clarifying, man. Yeah, I just, sorry guys, I've had a weird day. I couldn't explain it. I couldn't explain it good, and that's crappy content creation on my part, so my fault. My fault. My bad. Super Heavy does a hover slam, right? I have no idea, Steve Kraken. I don't know. If I would guess, once again, big guess. Super Heavy probably does something very similar. That TWR probably never goes above 1, at least when it's on 3. When it's on 3 engines. It's probably above 1 when it's on 13, if I had to guess. These are just guesses. I don't know. But it's the same thing, dude. Especially when it's making that pivot like that to the catch tower. Like that last sideways pivot. Dude, you do not want to go above 1.0 TWR. If you went above 1.0 TWR anytime during that point, the thing would tip right into the tower. It would hit it dead center. But that's, once again, I'm guessing. I know for sure with Falcon 9. I don't know for sure with Super Heavy. But it's probably the same idea because physics is physics, guys. It doesn't matter if your booster's Super Heavy or Falcon 9. They're both going to fly through the air similar. It's a similar idea. In hindsight, the area to look into isn't the outer structure, it's the internal structures that are fragile to sudden loads and water hammering. Yeah, Rudy, if I had to guess, I mean, I don't know if we should get this detailed into this conversation, but so the housing for the E9 engine. That's not pushing on the dome. It's designed to disperse load outwards. I can very much see how that would be very stressful to some components. Yeah, that's probably not, you probably don't want to push too hard on the center there. Like, yeah, that probably is not a good idea. The Super Heavy has 3 engines, not a center, so it's much easier to balance. Yeah, Grim, I mean, 15 degrees of thrust vector control will also help you with that. But you don't need 15 degrees of thrust vector control to keep a booster upright. All you got to do is just always go down. Super Heavy could probably hover. I'll bet you, like, if they could get the TWR to 1, I'll bet you it could just sit there. You know? Yeah, industry. That's another thing I try not to do. I try to make sure that the stream isn't always sunshine and rainbows. Because I am a real person. If it was me and I was just happy-go-lucky all the time, that would be a little strange, don't you think? Booster 16 hovered. Yeah. That tells me with Super Heavy that it's probably a throttle thing. Throttling the Raptor is the difference between it having 1.0 TW or not. Now, like I said, I know that's not the case with Falcon 9. That is not the case. Falcon 9 is a much more passively stable system than Super Heavy is. Current design of Super Heavy does hover. V3 will not. I have some co-workers that are sloshologists that went through sleepless nights trying to model it. Rudy, I have a question, bro. The sloshologists. How the hell did they get the booster right on the first try? How did you do that those people need to get paid more. Like those people, the sloshologists need to get paid more. That is insane. Catch on the first attempt. And subsequent successful catch every single attempt for a catch with the exception of flight 6 because it diverted. I firmly believe that booster 13 would have landed if that stupid antenna didn't bend. But dude, can you believe that? Like, did you guys see the plumbing for this damn thing? How does that thing not explode? How that thing doesn't explode is beyond me. The only way they got that thing to explode was during Flight 9, where they re-entered at like a 17-degree AOA off 90, and the freaking thing crushed itself during ignition. Like, it did the exact thing we're talking about with Falcon 9. It just popped because it can't. It's not designed to have forces pushing on it when it's flying sideways. What is the airspeed velocity of an unlanded Raptor? African or European? What is 17-degree AOA visually? Okay. All right. So super heavy falls. It falls like this, right? It's coming down. 17 is that. That's nuts. That's crazy. That is not. I mean, Falcon 9 can do this. It can do this. Super heavy, though, is not Falcon 9. The plumbing is a little more complicated down here because of that, you know? This is what I mean. So if you're at 90 right here, right? That's about 10 degrees. And that's about 17. That is insane. So think about the rocket engines pushing up. Think about where the drag is pulling on this vehicle. And you have your engines lighting, right? Basically, the engines push too hard, and the thing can't take forces with gravity pushing this way and the engines pushing that way. It doesn't like that. It gets very, very upset. If these people could read, they'd be very upset. See what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. Do you happen to know if Raptor has to go to full throttle during startup, then reduce? That's usually the case with most rocket engines, Seacrack. You want to start it up in the same exact way every time, right? To avoid startup transients and unknown startup transients, more important. Like SpaceX could probably test for it, but why? Start it up and then just throttle it. What I would work on is, if it was me, if I was a propulsion engineer, what I'd really work on is starting it the same exact way every time. Start it the same way every time and work on your throttle ability. How quickly can you throttle the engine? If you're going to do something like that, you'd probably want to put it on a test stand. Start it, stop it, start it, stop it, start it, stop it, throttle up, throttle down, start it, stop it, start it, stop it, start it, stop it. And that's exactly what we did see from the Raptor vertical test stand before they blew it up, and then they dismantled it. Right? Think about it like a car. You start a car the same exact way every time. You turn that key, you hold the starter for the same amount of time. Starts up every time. The entire vehicle dynamics team and GNC teams are based. It's public now, so I can say it, but all of our models were kind of wrong. But GNC managed to remodel them and modify the trajectory on the what? Yeah, this is what Gerst was talking about, Rudy, right? GNC can remodel and modify the trajectory on the fly using IMUs and the AGPS. It managed to figure out how much control authority it has during reentry and use lift to extend the flight path to the tower. What the actual fuck? Ryan, Rudy knows people. Let's just say that. Rudy knows people, and he's a guy that I trust for this information to be correct. Can I read that one more time? The vehicle dynamics teams and GNC teams are crazy. It's public now, so I could say that, but all our models were kind of wrong. Yeah, Gerst was talking about that. The thermal models weren't correct. GNC managed to modify the trajectory model on the fly using IMUs and AGPS. The booster managed to figure out how much control authority it has to re-enter. Holy crap, dude. That's so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. That's so rad, man. What the actual frick? The booster just figures out how to fly itself. The booster figures out how to fly itself by using all of SpaceX's simulation data that they do, and then comparing that against real-time trajectory as the booster is flying. God damn, that's cool. Wow. I mean, so the interesting thing is, Rudy, I knew Falcon 9 did that. I didn't realize Super Heavy did the same thing. I knew that Falcon 9 did that from another Bill Gerst interview that he did with Aviation Week. Yeah, he talked about that with the reporter from Aviation Week about how Falcon 9 got so dang reliable because it's every single flight is compared against the entire Falcon 9 flight data library. Every single flight, including Falcon 9 1.0, COTS 1, all the way to NG-23. Every single Falcon gets checked against other Falcon flights to increase reliability, which is bananas, dude. That's super freaking cool. Intelligent Super Heavy Booster. I know Kung Fu. EJ, show me. That's freaking sick, dude. Imagine having to distinguish between errors in the simulation and the dynamic conditions like wind. It's mechanical digital jazz, man. It's really cool. It's really freaking cool. Oh, man. That's wild, man. That's the kind of stuff that feels like a step above the rest. Is it that one, Dissipating Joe? Yes, that's it. It was Irene Klotz. That's who did that. Dude, read that article. Read that here. I'll link it for everybody to see. Read that Aviation Week article, and keep in mind this is like years out of date at this point. That's from 2022. You can only imagine what Falcon 9 does now. I'll bet you that Falcon 9 does that exact same thing. I'll bet you it does that too. SpaceX is all about unifying software like that. That's what they do. They are very, very good at this. I saw it firsthand, like I said, when I went to Hawthorne. It's not just about the mechanical stuff, guys. SpaceX has a freaking mainframe in Hawthorne. It's actually right next to where they do the casts on the mezzanine. It's right there, and it has a xenomorph in it and a Terminator model, and it says Cyberdyne Systems on the window into the mainframes. Not even kidding. So does Falcon and Starship use AI? No, it's not AI, goalie. It's what would it be, like a neural net, I guess? But yeah, that's wild, man. Rudy, thanks for kind of cluing me in. I didn't put two and two together, but yeah, that makes way more sense. It's not AI. What they're doing is not AI, dudes. It's not a large language model or anything. It's what's the right way to say it? I don't an algorithm. That's what it is. Yes. Visualize. That's the right way to say it. It's an algorithm. Like FSD. Well, Pat, FSD is a relative navigation system. Super Heavy isn't even that. It doesn't even need that. It doesn't need that, interestingly enough. It's just using algorithms to basically make flight trajectories, guys. And once again, that's not to take like the SpaceX GNC team down a peg or two. This is still crazy. That's like light years above what anybody else does with their GNC, guidance, navigation, and control. Basically, the software that denotes how the booster flies. Middle out algorithm. Yeah, right. Booster GNC gets like 1 million parameters from load sensors, IMUs, AGPS, internal slosh sensors, and loads from strain gauges on the vehicle skin. The booster flight computer can figure out if the rocket structure is nearing failure to not reach it, unless instructed to do a human-commanded order like on Flight 8 flight angle. Rudy, that's, you know, like what's crazy to me, dude? And this would never ever get tested, but that sounds like the booster is making like fly-by-wire conditions, right? And like you could have somebody like remote controlling the booster, and it sounds like how a fly-by-wire will interpolate your commands, but it'll only do it so much to not put the plane in a position where it's going to explode, right? Like if you look at the fly-by-wire on like an F-22 or an F-35, or even the space shuttle. The space shuttle won't let you put it into position where it's going to crash. It won't let you do it. You'll try to, and it'll be like, the computers will be like, no, you're not doing that. You're not crashing me, you dick. You know, it's almost like that. That's crazy, man. Challenge accepted. Yeah, I know, right? I wish they would try to land in crazy winds just to get the data. Oh, they do stuff like that all the time, Hammer. Oh, they land in crappy conditions all the time. All the time. How do you think Falcon 9 has gotten so damn reliable at it? They push the envelope every once in a while. They'll be like, oh, these conditions aren't good, but, you know, it's 10-mile-an-hour winds on the surface at the drone ship, right? And we landed one previously at 8-mile-an-hour winds. So send it at 10-mile-an-hour winds and see what happens. That is the exact reason why you have stuff like Booster 1058, the booster that was the life leader at the time. It landed in super harsh conditions, and the computer did it. But the harsh conditions tipped the stupid booster over. I mean, the GNC team is like, yeah, what happens after it lands is not my problem, right? I meant learning from data similar to the cars. Yeah. Yeah, Pat, it's the same idea, but once again, we're talking about telemetry and sensor data, so numbers versus pictures. That's what makes FSD so crazy, because you're training on pictures instead. That, you know, computers are good at calculations, right? They're good at calculations. That's why we have calculators. You know, computers are really good at crunching numbers, right? What they're not good at is crunching pictures. Well, kind of. With graphics cards the way they are, yeah, they're getting pretty good at it, right? But and that's where Tesla gets crazy, because Tesla is training. Basically, what they do is they get picture data, and then it goes through a photogrammetric interpolation at Tesla headquarters or wherever their data center is, right? And then they have the FSD client basically navigate through their 3D photogrammetric environment to train the cars to get them to self-drive better. But in order to do that, you basically need to render the entire US, let's say, so to speak. Like every street, every corner, every traffic light, every roadblock. You have to do that. And that's why Tesla is working on chipset design. Not a lot of people know Tesla's working on making processors as well. I believe their next one is the AI5 chip. I think that's what it's called. But I think that one is for Optimus, but you get the idea. And so, guys, the idea is that they're using the Tesla chipset, right? Which is kind of like a GPU, CPU infused thing, because they're pictures. Once again, computers with pictures. That's really important to understand here. And then the crazy thing is at this point, if you have FSD, right, and they have that's why Tesla's stock is so ridiculously high. It's not even a car company. It's a tech. The data that Tesla is sitting on, of having basically a photogrammetric map of every 3D space to make cars drive wherever they want. That's enough equity in the company. That data right there is so ridiculously valuable. That's why Tesla's stock is going through the roof, Because what they're going to do, what Elon's going to do, is take that FSD data and take the training that they did for a car and put it in the robot. They're going to put it in Optimus. That's all. That's what it's going to do. They're going to put it in Optimus, and Optimus will basically be able to self-drive. The FSD doesn't care if it's controlling a car, if it's controlling hands. It doesn't know the difference. Why would it? Right? Does that make sense? So that's, once again, that's a form of relative navigation. That's different. Relative nav is computers being trained on pictures, right? Inertial navigation is being driven by numbers based off of your telemetry. It's a little bit different. Sounds like something from Knight Rider. I mean, dude, Clayton, a Tesla with full self-driving is basically kit minus the missiles. At this point, like, I don't know what, like, dude, that is what that is. I've noticed your car actually learns and gets better. That's right, Ephemeral. Yes, because it's trained. You know how Tesla have all those cameras on them. Tesla's using that to generate 3D environments, render these environments with their data centers, and then 24/7, 365 test FSD based off of where you drove. But wouldn't you want LiDAR as well for depth? No. With Tesla, okay, interesting thing, thousands. This is now what you've stumbled upon is something that's very interesting. If you're a Tesla nut, you'll know this. Elon hates LiDAR. He hates it. Why does he hate LiDAR? Well, when it comes to the application of cars, LiDAR is that's basically using infrared to get range off of things. LiDAR is all fine and dandy, but you have to put a bunch of freaking sensors on your car. It has to look like a Waymo, which looks like it has chicken pox because it has all those freaking pods on the side for all the different LiDAR sensors that it needs. Right? Right? A Tesla just needs cameras. Easier with cameras. Cameras are everywhere. Right? And now, don't get me wrong, LiDAR is everywhere. You can use LiDAR as well, but it's easier to, Elon for some reason denoted that it's easier to train it off pictures. Train it off of visible light. He didn't want to use infrared. He wanted to use visible. He wanted to use it the same way that we use it. The same way that a human would be trained on pictures, right? When you drive somewhere, you're going to use a visual reference to drive somewhere. You're not going to use a laser rangefinder that says you're 500 feet from a stop sign, right? You're not doing that. It's supposed to mimic humans as much as possible. Humans use pictures. We use these things. What do these things look in? They look in visible light. Interestingly enough. LiDAR can be manipulated and coded incorrectly. Training it on pictures gives you much more human-like operation. And that's what Elon was... okay. At the time, I didn't really understand why he was so insistent on that. But the reason why he's insistent on that is something like Optimus. That's the reason. You know, there's a potential future where we could live in that everybody has an Optimus. People have Optimuses in their house like you would have a Roomba in your house. I have 2 Roombas. 100% proven that you won't get self-driving without LiDAR. Even Tesla is coming to that conclusion. Good news is that LiDAR sensors are a lot more compact than they used to be. I'd have to say that Tesla's doing a pretty good job without it, man. It's a contentious thing, though. Like, the interesting thing, you guys want to hear something ironic? Now, I'm not the biggest Tesla nutcase, right? But the ironic thing there is that Dragon uses LiDAR. Dragon uses LiDAR. You know what uses relative navigation for ISS docking? Starliner. That's weird. Didn't see that one coming. Starliner uses the Vesta. The Vesta is a relative nav system. It's FSD for a spacecraft. That's a little strange, right? Rudy, ship team is even more crazy if you think about it. The suborbital flights were a goldmine to figure out flap control authority in the subsonic regime. On the hypersonic side, Flight 4 was the first real test of the ship GNC. I can't say much more about what you learned from it, but the V2 flight computer is legit crazy. It has the job for GNC and attitude control in space and to manage load and model and modify the trajectory on the fly if it gets less control authority from the flaps, like on Flight 10 damage. Yeah, Rudy. I know. I get it. I get what they're doing. There's a reason why they rocked that ship back and forth during Flight 10, and it wasn't just to test the structural integrity of the ship. I get it. I see what those melon farmers are doing, man. Have you watched that Mark Rober video, though? Tesla camera systems gets demolished by LiDAR systems in any low visibility situation. Yeah, Jack, but okay, so here's my thing. All right.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Okay, hear me out. I don't know, man. I don't know where to come out for full self-driving. Oh, hey, Warhammer. Hey, 13-month resub. And Jasper had a 66-month resub a second ago, but the headset timed out. Sorry about that. See, here's the thing. Here's where I stand. All right. I can't speak too much to like Waymo and LiDAR and how that all works. Like, I'll be honest with you. But I know that Tesla has something here.
Discovery,
You
go
know,
at throttle up.
Mark Rober's video is all fine and dandy. Oh, it doesn't work in low light. It doesn't work in low light. But the relative navigation system that Tesla uses in the visible light spectrum is that's something that gets better over time. It gets better over time. It's not hard coded. As far as I can tell, Waymo is using LiDAR for rangefinder sensing, and it's not self-correcting, as far as I can tell. The old autopilot lead about why Tesla removed radar and ultrasonic sensors. Yeah, that info's out there, sure. My wife takes Waymo to work 90% of days, and I feel safer as a cyclist around Waymo than I do humans. Sure. I bet the team hit themselves when the ship aft popped. Also, nearly all of the GNC team plays KSP using KOS, and a lot of them do watch your stream since the days of Neptune. Some of them leave your stream running while they work. Thanks for the content. Why are you telling me this, dude? Why are you telling me this? Yeah, dude, that's going to go right to my freaking head. Why would you say that? Oh, you're killing me, man. You're welcome, but damn, dude. Oh, why you gotta tell me that? I don't want to know that. Damn it. No, tell me I suck. I need to take my ego down a peg or 2 or 3 or 8 or 20. Just tell me I'm awful. Tell me I'm a terrible content creator, please. 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 It's going to my head. Oh, that's pretty cool. You look funny. Thank you. You suck. Thank you very much. Thank you. Awful. Yes. All right. Cool. Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's EJ. You're bald. Thank you. Yes. Yes, I am. Yes. See? Yes. Thank you. All right. Your welds suck. Yes, they do. They're awful. You're right. Yes. Whoa, you stink. You suck. All right, cool. All right, Forge of Junk. Hey, let's not push it, okay? Let's hey, all right. That's where we draw the line. Oh, that's super cool, Rudy. That makes me really happy. I hope I can inspire those folks, though, seriously. The watching since the days of Neptune. Holy balls, they freaking know about that. That's weird, man. But dude, Neptune was pretty good. That was pretty good. It was pretty good. I learned a lot from that. You know, Rudy, okay, all right. Take my ego down again in a second, chat, please. Guys, so when we were building Neptune back in the day, Neptune was like a super heavy ripoff. The Apollo Saturn rocket is kind of like it. It was one of the biggest lifters that I ever made in KSP, right? It could do 400 tons, and you could get the first stage back, right? We decided in Kerbal to just land it on the engine nozzles. The reason why we decided to land on the engine nozzles is because the booster was like 100 tons. It was actually even more than that. It was like 300 tons empty, right? It was 300 tons with no fuel in it. It had like 33 shuttle engines. I put a bunch of shuttle engines down the bottom because that was the closest thing that we have to Raptors. I mean, it still kind of is, but right? I just landed it on its hold down points because making landing legs made no sense. It's just going to destroy them. Like right when you come into land, you deploy the landing legs. Doesn't matter how big it is. The thing's 300 tons, right? Awful, but entertaining. All right, cool. Cool. Have you ever played Satisfactory? Yes. Yes, Foodie. Yeah, absolutely. So it's very interesting that SpaceX kind of came to the same conclusion. Building something this big, something that weighs that freaking much, making landing legs for that is a waste of time. Now, once again, with SpaceX, it's because they're using stainless. In Kerbal, it's because you can't really engineer something that's strong enough to hold up 300 tons that needs to also fly on a booster without incurring crazy amounts of dry mass. So dry mass is more booster on your booster, right? The more booster you have on your booster, the less fuel you have on your booster, which means your booster isn't going as far, right? Same idea, which is very interesting. Like I said, guys, I know Kerbal ain't the end-all be-all, but it's a good teacher. Okay, now tell me I suck again. Hey, you stunned? Oh, I'm very stunned, dude. The only gripe I have with Tesla and FSD is that they advertise it as being ready with old hardware. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Thousand, once again, I ain't no Tesla fanboy. I would not buy a Tesla because they are not right to repair. If you want to fix your Tesla, that is not a thing. It's like an iPhone. You basically take it to them and maybe they'll be able to fix it or they'll give you another one. And that's fine. If that's what people want out of their automobiles, I don't have a problem with that. All right? They're not right to repair. And that's not really a big selling point for me, personally, right? With that being said, I do know and understand and respect the tech that they do have. It's pretty damn good. I ain't no Tesla fanboy. Yeah, right. Ah, man, I gotta say, we do have some discussions about the stream. A lot of my coworkers like your streams. Keep up the good content. You inspired many to join the industry, my guy. Thanks for the stream. Gotta go work. Good luck and thanks for the stream again. Don't tell me this. That's... You know what, dudes? I'm not gonna lie. The ego thing was a joke. That doesn't make me... I don't feel like, oh man, the SpaceX's GNC team watches the stream. I'm awesome. I mean, maybe a little bit, but that just tells me that I'm on the right track. What I'm doing is the right thing. I'm teaching people correctly. That's a great affirmation of that, to be honest with you. That's how I feel about it. I'm like, okay, I'm on the right track. That makes me feel really freaking good that people that know way more about this than I do say, like, yes, that's what you should be. This is the right way to explain this. I'm like, yes. It's more validation than anything than ego boosting. You got me on the right track. Yeah. Need to do some KRPC. Oh, that's what we're doing with Wonton. Oh, yeah, we're doing that, Sea Kraken. I have to. It's time. It's time, dude. You're a proud father of an entire GNC team. This should make you feel good. I hope it helps in the crap days. Actually, Fluffy, that was a huge boost today because my morning was not great. It was not great. We got more good news, as my neighbor likes to put it. But I don't want to talk about it, dude. Let's just say the thing with the accountant is settled and it's not financially very good for you, boy. But we'll just leave it at that. I really don't want to talk about it. This isn't like, oh, I don't want to talk about it, but let me talk about it. I really don't. It's not been a fun day. That made me feel a lot better. Naturalox, you've been trying to get me to see the ESAR report. Yeah, I have it teed up here, dude. Thank you. Yeah, you've been linking it to me. Yeah. Quit while you're behind. That's right. Anyway, Rudy, that's awesome, man. I'm really happy that I could help make these guys do their jobs better and be more inspiring. That makes me happy. No summer car today. Tox, I will be playing summer car after Space News. Do it the cool way and base the GNC off of a proven rocket program. I don't have any proven rocket programs. What do you mean, Seacracken? Well, by that logic, dude, okay, full disclosure. For the Wonton rocket, I engineered it to fly on Condor 9's flight trajectory. Is that bad? It's Condor 9's flight trajectory. It's the same thing. It's what I learned when we did the deep dive into Falcon in the late 20-teens, like 2018, 2019. It's the same thing. Who said you were explaining something well? I'm missing something. Don't worry about it. So Dean, Rudy over there in the YouTube chat is he works out in the industry. I'm not gonna say for who or what. It's not SpaceX. Somebody else. But yeah, he knows people that know people that know people that work in the industry too, and that's cool. How's Titan? Titan is fine. Yeah, he's doing okay. The drugs are, you could tell that doxycycline is not doing good things. He's just kind of like, oh, hey, human. Hey, what are we doing today? All right, human. Yeah, you go over there. I'll just be right here sleeping, Mr. Human. Okay. All right. That's basically what, yeah. Yeah, it's basically what. So he's stoned. I wouldn't say stoned. It doesn't look like he's having a good time at Mena. I would say drowsy, I guess.
Discovery.
Hey,
go with
Ephemeral,
throttle up.
tier 1 6 months in advance. Thank you. Is Titan my pet? Yeah. Titan is my doggo. He's got heartworms right now, so yeah, we adopted him, and he had owners before us, and I'm fairly confident they did not give him any heartworm preventative ever. So I'm nursing my pupper back to health. Slowly but surely. It sucks because when a dog has heartworms, they can't really do anything. He just kind of has to sit there. Like, you can kind of play, but you can't really roughhouse. Anything that's going to get the dog to start panting and get their heart rate up, can't do it. Because the heartworms are a parasite in dogs' hearts that kind of, the way the parasite forms, it kind of is, looks like a worm. And if the heart's pumping a lot, it could break it off. It could break the parasite off, like snapping a twig, right? And that could go into an artery or something and clog it, and that's the end of that. So no strenuous work. Yeah, he's on doxycycline for like the next, I don't know, basically till 2026. So yeah, you can tell it's screwing with him, like, because he's usually, before he was super energetic. He likes running around, we'd play fetch all the time. Like, that's what I'd do before a stream. I'd go out and play fetch in the backyard with the dog. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. And you can tell he's like, why aren't we doing that thing that I enjoy, human? And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I can't. How did you find out the dog had heartworm? The vet? Jeez, Blackthorn. Man. Give him extra pets for us. Yeah, Titan will be fine in Mana. He'll be all right. Yeah. After treatment, he'll be 150%. Yeah, Dances. It just kind of, that's another thing that happened during August that I didn't really talk about too much. Like, yeah. Yeah, this happened. So, like, it kills me to see him just sitting there doing nothing. Like, I know He's not that type of dog. He's a worker dog. So Titan he's like 40% like super mutt, right? And then like 20% boxer, 20% lab, and like 20% Australian cattle dog. Actually, I think it's more. I think he's 30 cattle dog, like 30 cattle dog, 20 boxer, 20 lab, and like 30% like mutt. He's just a bunch like, yeah, he's a mutt, but he looks like a cattle dog, but yeah. He's just, I mean, dude, like lab, boxer, cattle dog, those are all worker dogs. So he's got energy. He wants to run around. That's what he does. Last couple of months put you through the ringer. 2025 has been a pretty tough year, but it's also been a pretty good one too, because we got stuff like Canard. I got to see a star. I got to see 2 starships this year. 30% rocket. Yes, thank you. So, yeah. All right. Anyway, enough about Titan. Relative navigation systems and whatnot, dude. PLD did their LOX tank test. All right, let's see. What's this Jeff Faust article about? This is ESAR. ESAR prepares for a second Spectrum launch. To continue reading this article. Oh, yeah, that's right. Space News is behind a paywall now. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah. What are you kidding? Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Hang on. Let me get the other article. Oh, Noctilox, I thought you sent the findings. So, long story short is, guys, that ESAR with their Spectrum rocket went to launch out of Indoya earlier this year. And the rocket made it a little ways off the pad and then flipped over. I do believe that a loss of... Okay, so what does this say? I'm reading the copy that they sent. EJ, read the copy. The copy is good. Just read it. I like to do the cha-cha. I like to do the cha-cha like a little girl. Oh, no, sorry. All right. Anyway. Loss of attitude control and an open valve contributed to the loss of ESAR Aerospace's first Spectrum rocket in March. Yeah, sticky valves. That happens. Yeah, using valves with cryogenics, guys, is a pain in the butt, man. It's, yeah, not fun. Not fun at all. It does happen, but it looks like ESAR is teeing up for another launch of their Spectrum rocket from Indoya, which is cool. That's cool. Hey, the first one failed. It happens. It happens. I also... Oh, there is one more thing I want to say. Just pivoting here. Rocket Lab had a... Well, first of all, Peter Beck has an interview with Ryan tomorrow. Ryan Caton over at NSF. He's going to interview Peter Beck. I told him to ask him about how do you integrate Neutron. That I actually sent Ryan a DM directly. I'm like, Ryan, how do you tell... Could you ask him how you do that, please? That would be really great. Thanks, man. That's the most beautiful launch site. Indoya is pretty good, dude. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I told him to ask them that. It's funny. Peter Beck, he'll probably say this on Wednesday, but he said it in an interview the other day. He goes, with Neutron, I don't want this getting off the pad nonsense or making it to main engine cutoff and staging nonsense. Our objective with Neutron on the first flight is to get it in orbit. Anything short of that is a failure. He goes, yeah, they got a word for that. It's called failing. I'm like, I like you. You're all right. I mean, that was a little bit of hyperbole on my part, but that is the gist of what he said. He said, yeah, they got a word for that. It's called failing. My rocket's gonna get to space on the first try. I'm like, I like you. You're cool. Will he be eating his hat again? Considering he said he'd do it and then lost the bet and did it. I don't think he's kidding. I don't think he would say we're gonna get this thing into space on the first try if he wasn't absolutely sure. That's a ballsy thing to say, and you know what? That's why I like Rocket Lab, because here, this was from an interview a little while back. Peter Beck was asked, by a reporter, what distinguishes your company from other small sat contenders, like, and they started naming off other companies, right? Like, what distinguishes Rocket Lab from all the other ones? And Peter Beck just kind of bluntly looked at them and said, well, we launch shit into space. That is not me swearing for exposition there. That is verbatim what he said. I like Peter Beck. That guy's cool. that guy's cool. He's good. Yeah. So, yeah, I always like Rocket Lab because of that, because Peter Beck doesn't take no prisoners, man. That's badass. He's like, well, we launch stuff into space. That's a pretty distinguishing thing. It's like, what? I'm sorry, Mr. Beck. I was unfamiliar with your game. Sir, Peter Beck. That's right. Certainly doesn't mince words. No, I like that. I like that. I really appreciate it, Hellfish. That's pretty awesome. If nothing, I love Rocket Lab's raw enthusiasm. Hey, man, Rocket Lab is the only one that is even remotely close to, like, SpaceX in any way, shape, or form. They're the only ones.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Have you guys seen how many Electron launches have been this year? Rocket Lab, I had to look it up on next space flight. This upcoming mission, Jenna, that's launching on the 22nd from Wallops, is their 13th mission this year. Now, once again, the NG-23 launch was like the 118th or something mission. Hold on, I can get that information too. It was the 116th Falcon 9 mission this year. Now, I understand that 13 is not 116, right? But also at the same time, 13 is more than once a month. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. No one else is even close to 13 launches a month. Like, if Rocket Lab just stood out, like, if SpaceX didn't exist, Rocket Lab would be like, everyone would be like, damn, dude. 13 in 9 months is a lot. That's a lot of launches. Like, if you're taking SpaceX out of the equation, that's an insane amount of launches. So, sir, we knighted him for a reason. Good call. Good call. Top bloke. Top bloke he is. 13 successful ones to boot. And that's what I mean, dude. That doesn't seem like a lot compared to SpaceX's 116 Falcon 9 missions and 4 Starship flights, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Like that. But Rocket Lab is the only one that's even close. No one else has come close. Anyone that bets against him or Rocket Lab is a fool. I wouldn't. Yeah, Nick, yep. It's crazy how SpaceX dilutes the rocket industry. If it were 2015 to 2018, we would think Rocket Lab is God. Yeah, Ari, that's what I'm trying to say. 13 launches in a year is no joke. That's hard to do. That's difficult. Heck, doing 2 launches in a year is tough to do. Look at Blue Origin. This is difficult, man. This is tough stuff. SpaceX makes it look easy. But 13 launches this year is pretty freaking good. That's pretty good. If Rocket Lab's probably going to end up, if they keep launching at the same rate, they probably hit 24 launches this year. That's 1 launch every 2 weeks. That's pretty friggin' good. That's the rate that NASA wanted to launch the space shuttle at for a little while, and then it would have been 1 launch a week, which that would have been cool. But anyway, new company from China. It's a hybrid of Falcon 9 and Vulcan at a 5.4 meter diameter. Okay. And you know, even ESAR is looking to do another launch this year. That's pretty good, man. 2 launches a year is pretty damn good, man. I don't know what this is, Baron. I don't really care. Project Kuiper. Okay, Peter B. DeSielding, co-founder, editor of Space Intel Report. The Project Kuiper. Our problem isn't satellites, it's launch. If you had a slingshot, we'd probably use it. Company will have about 200 sats on orbit by January 1st, and it needs to be 1,600 by July. Yeah, if they have to, their permitting is to get 1,600 satellites up by July of 2026, and they have 200, less than 200. The FCC will not be happy. You ever heard of Falcon 10? Falcon XX? If not, search it up and good luck to your sanity. Yeah, that was a concept from back in the day. The FCC won't let them be. That's right. Playing the world's smallest violin. You see, Ephemeral, this is the other... Yeah. Guys, I don't know if you guys watched the Flame Trench post show on Friday. I was... I was pretty critical of Blue and, like, you know, I hope everything is okay because they said 6 New Glenn launches this year and they're using waterfall style engineering and they haven't hit 6 launches this year. They have 1 and they have gotten no first stages back. Now, the reason why I brought it up is because I'm like, I don't know if something is wrong here or not, or if they redesigned something or what. But either way, you know, I think that statement holds true, and New Glenn needs to really work, man. It needs to work because, yeah, it's funny because Project Kuiper is struggling because New Glenn doesn't work. And partially because ULA is not scaling as quickly as anybody thought they would. If launches is a problem for Kuiper, just buy Falcon 9s. They already have, Ari. Yeah, they already have. Amazon shareholders forced fiduciary responsibility onto Amazon and made them buy the cheapest rocket, because if they didn't buy the cheapest rocket, that is an abdication of your duty as a CEO to your shareholders. Or not abdication. It's not doing your job. So Project Kuiper did buy Falcon 9 launches. I believe they bought 3. Bet Jeff was thrilled with that. Yep. Okay, what's Jeff Faust saying over here? Blue Origin's Laura Maginus said on a World Space Business Week panel this morning that the company is working to support multiple New Glenn launches a month next year, but offered no specific projections. Last year, Blue projected 8 to 10 launches in 2025. Dude, something's wrong. Something's wrong over there. I don't know what it is. That's not... So, guys, Blue is not using iterative testing. They are not doing what SpaceX is doing. They're not doing stuff like that. That New Glenn launch was a mission. That was the test flight. So, they're not doing iterative testing. So that means their testing is much more like SLS, or like, I guess a better way would be Vulcan. Or, yeah, Vulcan would probably be a good comparison. Which basically means that you really... you don't run into crazy problems. You know what I mean? I have a clue they laid off too much staff. Didn't Blue lay off a ton of people? But that was their R&D team. I think. Now, I know that sounds bad, but that has nothing to do with scaling, right? Yeah, I'm really kind of wondering what's going on, because you don't, if you're doing a waterfall style testing and you say you're going to launch I thought it was 6 missions this year. But Jeff Faust is saying 8 to 10. If you don't say you're going to launch 8 to 10 times and miss it by that much without something going very wrong. Like, once again, I'm not trying to cast doubt on Blue. I'm not trying to concern Troll. I want New Glenn to fly. I want it to fly more. I'm just wondering what the heck's going on over there. Like, because they seemed very adamant that they would be back on the launch pad in a couple of months in January after their first flight. Stage 1 is the problem. Venturino, 2 things. I firmly believe they wanted to get that first stage back. They said, so you're saying there's a chance, but that was a full flight fidelity first stage. And something popped on it. And my guess is something popped on it in a way that they were not anticipating. Which, if you're doing waterfall style testing, that means your analysis wasn't good enough. That means it's like Starliner, same idea. Which is not great. I hope I'm wrong.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
I don't know, man. I don't mean to speak bad about Blue. I want Blue to do well. I want more rockets. I want more heavy lift rockets. In fact, I think Blue should be roped into the Artemis program for launching Orion into low Earth orbit with New Glenn. Let me even say that. That's why I want more New Glens to fly. But something clearly is wrong over there. Like, either that or they found something out that they really, really missed with first stage flying, and that sucks. But once again, I think they'll figure it out. They have the resources to do it. You've seen their engine section, right? That thing cannot be built quickly no matter what you do. Yep. I don't know, Rarest. Maybe. Wild speculation, but do you think they could have a problem related to that TWR? I'm pretty sure whatever caused that, Ari, is something that they have figured out. I have no way, shape, or form to prove that to you with any concrete sources or anything, but I'm pretty sure they know why that happened. It might be engine tuning, like what I'm saying. Could be conservative mapping for your engines. That happens. Could be something else. I'm pretty sure they know what it is, though. CS Jump 30-month resub. Thank you very much. Tipsy Penguin had a 68-monther in there, too. Thank you very much, dudes. That fiduciary responsibility is a direct result of Dodge versus Ford Motor Company to bring this around to cars for you. Yeah, I know. The Dodge brothers are douchebags. Yeah, let me put it like that. Because they forced that precedent because they wanted to stick it to Henry Ford, because Henry Ford beat them at pretty much doing everything, and then they got all pissy about it. This was like 110 years ago or something, guys. Don't worry about it. Ship 38 quick disconnect is heading to the pad for the static fire. All right. There we go. We'll get into Starship news, but what did you link me up here? NASA Northrop Grumman assessing Cygnus XL engine burn plan. Uh-oh. NASA and Northrop Grumman are delaying the arrival of Cygnus XL to the International Space Station as flight controllers evaluate an alternate burn plan for the resupply spacecraft. The Cygnus XL will not arrive to the space station on September 17th, which is a Wednesday, as originally planned, with the new arrival date and time under review. Early morning, Cygnus XL's main engine stopped earlier than planned during 2 burns designed to raise the orbit of the spacecraft for rendezvous with the space station, where it will deliver 11,000 pounds of scientific investigations and cargo to the orbiting laboratory. All other Cygnus XL systems are performing normally. NASA astronaut Johnny Kim is scheduled to capture the Cygnus XL using the station's Canadarm2 robotic arm. with backup support from NASA astronaut Zena Cardman. After capture, the spacecraft will be installed on the Unity module's Earth-facing port. So that is the nadir of Node 1. And will remain at the space station until March of 2026. Spacecraft launched at 6:11 on September 14th on a Falcon 9 rocket. The engine stopped earlier than planned. Oh no, not bigness. Do you think that bigness is too much for that little engine? Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. It stopped earlier than planned during 2 burns. So this version of Cygnus is the reason why we're calling it bigness, guys, and we did talk about this a little bit, is because, okay, so if you look here, this is a picture of a Cygnus that's up at the space station. This was a prior mission. If you look, Cygnus has its service module, it has its solar panels, right, and it has the grapple point for the Canadarm, right? And then if you look at the actual capsule, it has 3 rings, right? You could very clearly see that the pressurized volume, or PV for short, has 3 rings to it. 1, 2, and 3. This one that launched on NG-23 has a 4th. That's why we call it bigness. It's funny because Cygnus started with 2 rings when it originally started flying, and then they upgraded it to 3, and now they upgraded it to 4. It's possible that the duty cycle on that engine is getting close to, what's the right way to say it? The duty cycle on that engine is getting too close to like maximum rated, and that's probably why it shut it off, if I had to guess. That's, once again, big guess. Bigness. But yeah, very interesting. If that's the case, guys, and they found the upper level limits on the duty cycle, it's pretty easy to adjust the trajectory and adjust your burn time to just do smaller boost and phasing burns, which is why they're not sure when it's going to get to the ISS. Just plan for doing smaller burns at once, which means you have to do more orbits. I don't think the life of anything on the spacecraft, I don't think there's anything on the spacecraft that has like a shelf life per se. If anything, it's not going to be a shelf life that's going to expire over a week. You know what I mean? Or else they would have said something. So, yeah, that's pretty easy to fix. That's a pretty easy thing to modify. That's not that big of a deal. He said duty. I did say duty. Yeah, they're basically hitting the rev limiter on that engine. Enough. Going over here. So Zach showed this over on Lab Padre here. Interesting new tank just rolled out of Star Factory. This thing, whatever the heck it may be, rolled out of the Star Factory and they rolled it into Mega Bay 2. I have not the slightest clue what that could possibly be. I'm dead serious. I have no idea. It's a tube with a cone at the top. If I had to guess, I was going to say header tank, but it's not the right size. This is the bigness main engine. Yeah, the BT4. 450 Newton hydrazine NTO bipropellant thruster. Nobody really does. We've been trying to figure it out. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Okay. Here's EJ's insight. Do you see the jig that they're using to move it around? What does it look like? It's an A-frame, right? You can tell because of the way it is, right? So it's a triangulated frame. That tells me that this thing rotates. Whatever this fixture is and whatever it's supposed to be doing, right? It rotates. Another thing to note is they have a fixed gantry crane up here at the top. So something big is designed to be brought up here and put inside of this tank from this gantry, whatever the heck that is. So this, whatever it is, it's designed to be rotated. I think. If I'm looking at how this looks like an A-frame. When you have a jig like this, you can rotate it. Now, I don't know if that was from assembly or something. I have no idea. As EJ talked about the water ship, I'm saving that for last, program. Is the station good until SpaceX can launch another Dragon? Yeah, there's overlap. Ari, it should be fine. The second stage also only hit like 26,500 kilometers an hour. Isn't it usually closer to 27,000? It's probably because SpaceX didn't want to circularize with the second stage. Yeah, maybe, Raymond. Yeah. Either an internal tank for a fuel transfer demo or a space torpedo. Yeah, either way. Well, okay, so they rolled it into Mega Bay 2, guys. Wait, was it Mega Bay 2 or Mega Bay 1? If I didn't know better, I would say side booster. It was rolled into Mega Bay 1. Mega Bay 1 is the one for boosters, right? Right? Mega Bay 2 is the one that's in the back. That's where the ships go, correct? Yeah, I said Mega Bay 2 before, didn't I? Yeah, I was wrong. No, it's 1. It wasn't 2. So, obviously it's something for the booster, right? Would you say it's a fair analysis to say that if they put that piece, if they rolled that piece out of Star Factory into the Mega Bay where they have all the boosters, that it's probably for boosters? Is that fair? Like, is that a fair assessment of the situation? Is a prototype lunar landing tank a stupid idea? Well, no, not really, Blackness, but where I'm getting confused here is they rolled it into the booster testing, or the booster assembly area. Maybe not, they may have just had room in Mega Bay 1. Well, let's see. If we don't see that thing come out of Mega Bay 1 in the coming days, well, you know it's for a booster, whatever it is. When they were rolling that tank inside the factory, it kind of looks like a CSM. It does look like a CSM. Yeah, absolutely. So check this out. This is coming from LSR, who LSR captured some Starbase live footage. Now, not only did we see that funky thing come out of the factory, we also saw this. Oh wait, no, that's the same thing. Hold on. Whoa, wait a minute. Where are you going with this thing? Now I'm really confused. I thought they rolled out another demo tank too. Hold on. Okay. Hold up a second. I thought I thought it was for this. Give me one moment. I was saying it like they rolled out another V3 test article. I'm pretty sure they did, but it doesn't matter. This is actually super cool because you can get a better look at the damn jig. What the hell is that? Like, and why is it on a transport stool? Making beer? It does look, dude, that's what it looks like. I mean, yeah, they can't. Yeah, they have to go around. Guys, I'm not talking about the path. I understand that they have to go up Remedios and come in the back way. I understand. Because they can't go this way because there's a Gigabay Foundation in the way. Here, perhaps this picture will explain it a little bit better. So the exit, that doorway is right there. So it has to go down and then it has to go out and then it has to go around. Can't go this way. There's a foundation in the way. Does that make more sense? I'm more wondering what the hell that is. Once again, it looks like an A-frame. It looks like it pivots on it, but I can't really say for sure. Are they making their own overwrap pressure vessels out of stainless? You'd need a carbon fiber mandrel to do something like that, Ordon, and you'd need to find a place to wrap this thing. That jig is... I'm telling you, we should be able to figure out what the heck that thing is for. Because look, this is all placed this way for a reason, dudes. Now, I'm guessing that A-frame is there to take this thing and turn it in one way or the other, but I don't know for sure. There's also a lot of tubes on the sides here. You see that? And then there's a lot of stiffening rings here for said tube. I have no idea, guys. I don't. Oh, there's tubes there and there. What the hell is this? Yeah, it's definitely not centered. See how it's all the way on the back? That's what I mean. This thing's got to like turn one way or the other. You guys also want to see a weird one. Take a look at the center. Look right there. The point goes all the way down. It goes all the way down to the bottom. So this is pointy on both ends. Now I'm really confused. Docking fuel adapter. Yeah, Phil, your guess is tanker starship. Dude, I'm with you. I'm with you on this one. I really, really honestly think that that might be a ship, fuel tank payload for a ship. That's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Do we know the diameter? Well, so K3, this diameter right here is starship. That's 9 meter. Right here. So that's like a 3-meter tank. This could be for a propellant transfer demo. An on-orbit propellant transfer demo. In fact, that's my guess. What about a belly tank for in-flight fuel transfer? Well, Hanks, it'd be inside of Starship's payload bay, but yes, that's the idea. Reminds me of the early booster landing header tank. Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. That's very strange. Shipborne recondenser. Something like that, Andrew. Yeah. Taking a tank up to see if you could pump it out in space. Yeah, workings, pretty much. Could maybe HLS testing? A waffle, that's possible. It could be your landing thruster fuel tank. It's possible. I think that's a little bit big for a landing thruster fuel tank, but who knows? It's going to be welded to the wall of a tank. That is why it's open on one side. Interesting. Here's the booster 18.3. That's, yeah, they rolled out another booster test tank. That was the one in the background. There it is. This is, once again, off Lab Padre. We like Lab. Lab's cool. It's called Bigness. So, fellas, all right. Help me clock this thing. Where the heck does this tank go? Here, let me get my old V1 Starship model out here. All right. So, where does this tank go in this design? My guess is that it goes right here. Like, your payload bay starts from here over. I'm guessing that tank is going to end up right here. Am I looking at this correctly? Like, basically where my pointer finger is, that's where this is going. It's going on one side. Do you think that could fit in Starship's cargo hold? Well, we know the header tank lines, Shy. The header tank lines are running this way. So that may make sense that the tank is basically, once again, right where my pointer finger is. That would be a weird center of mass. Mutter, that's what's throwing me off. Yeah, Jake, the main engine. Bigness is not happy with its motors. But it was going into Mega Bay 1 and not 2. Yeah, there's 1,000. I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused. I don't know what that is. I'm a little confused by your tactics. I'm gonna keep acting tough until I figure out what's going on. Interesting. It's an espresso machine. No, it's a snow cone maker. What is it a water heater? No, it's a propane tank, boy. Interesting. Yeah. Fellas, I don't know what that is. Leader is French. Give me some freaking cola. Anyway, here's a look at from RGV. This is an RGV aerial photo of the Gigabay being built. They've got a lot of the foundations down. And what is this? What? It looks like Spider-Man took a dump in here. What the heck is this? Plastic over the concrete. All right, cool. Curing wrap. Yeah, to keep the heat keep the heat in, right? Spidey dump. Spidey dump. Sorry, I just said the first thing that came into my head. That was bad. Water curing concrete case. Okay, got it. Keeps the water in. Ah, yeah, okay. I get you. I'm picking up what you're laying down, chat. Well, not what Spider-Man's laying down, though. I don't want to pick that up. Unless I had a pooper scooper. Cool how you could see where each working bay will be. Yep, exactly. So where these thick slabs are, that's where starships are going to get built, and super heavies. Dude, look at the density of the lattice mesh. That's unreal, man. That is a lot of lattice, dude. That's big. That's real thick boy lattice. Look at how dense it is. That's crazy, especially around the starship pits. That's nuts, dude. Actually, the reverse. Keep the moisture water in because it would cure way too fast in the Texas sun. Yeah, Deadbringer, that's what people are saying over in YouTube chat. Dude, that's you know the lattice is thick when you can't see the ground because there's so much lattice in the way. This is the stuff. So, for the uninitiated, the reason why I'm talking about rebar lattice is so that's metal. Right, those are metal bars. It's called rebar. It's kind of like got ribbing on it. It looks kind of like a pipe almost, but it's solid. It's solid steel bar. If you take that mesh, so you tie them into a mesh like this, right? And you just keep going with the mesh over and over again, and that mesh creates a lattice, right? And then you pour concrete and submerge the lattice in the concrete. This creates what's called reinforced concrete. Now, what is the short story? Concrete is way stronger when it has steel basically working as a strong back for it. That's what that mesh is. The reinforced concrete makes it so concrete is less resistant to compression style loads. Or is more resistant to compression style loads, excuse me.
Discovery, go at throttle.
In this particular case, the compression style load comes from probably like a 200-ton booster and 100-ton ship or something sitting on it for long periods of time. You don't want that to crack. You don't want it to fall into the ground, right? So you really want some very, 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 very strong reinforced concrete for the foundation. Because once again, remember, it's not just the starships that it's holding up. It's holding up the building that's bigger than the starships and the boosters as well. So you want really thick lattice for something like this. The other thing about reinforced concrete is that it's less susceptible to, so if you have a span, right? You have a span of concrete like this, it's less susceptible to tensile load. Concrete doesn't like being stretched. If it's reinforced concrete, it can be stretched a little bit more, but it still doesn't like it. But so like if one side of the building is kind of going that way, it's going to hold the thing together, right? And it's not going to sag either. But sagging, if your force is coming from this way, we're talking dynamics and statics now, right? This is structural engineering, right? If your load is pushing down like this, that's still compression, right? Poison, 53-month resub. Thank you. If you look at this pic I just sent you, you can see the embeds in the tower for the tower cranes. What? Oh, let me see. That's up at the top. Yeah. The embeds for the cranes. So 4 tower cranes, from what I can tell. There's probably going to be one right there. Concrete with more struts. Yep. Thick lettuce. That's right. Yeah, that's going to be one hell of a building. Keep in mind, guys, the Giga Bay is going to be taller than the Mega Bay that's right next to it. Like, way taller. Like, almost 2 times as tall. This is going to be a big building. Big. How big is this compared to the VAB? The Giga Bays that SpaceX is building at Boca Chica and at Roberts Road are about 2/3 the size of the VAB. About 2/3. I forget if that's 2/3 the volume. I'd have to go look. How many meters tall? The VAB is 525 feet, Bose, so that's it's like 155 meters, I think. 155. It's big, dude. That's the VAB. This is going to be 100 meters tall, if I'm understanding it right. About 160. Yeah. Sorry, doing the math in my head. Let's be real. I dealt with enough numbers today. Okay. Did you see the barge to transport Super Heavy to Cape? That's actually the news that I've been saving for the very end of space news, dudes. So Elon posted something very strange the other day. On the 8th, he posted something that says, "You'll thank me later," on X, right? And it's funny because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Elon's going to do this. We'll thank him later. He's going to save Western civilization or something." There was a lot of people that speculated a lot of different things on social media. It's people speculating stuff, weird stuff on social media. That never happens, CJ. What are you talking about? I know, that's so strange, right? Anyway, somebody appears to have predicted this correctly. This guy, this is not about buying stock. This is about SpaceX. And Elon said correct. And then he said, somebody asked, so is SpaceX actually getting a new drone ship? Robin asked that, and Elon replied and said, yes. We're getting a new ship, a new water ship to transport SpaceX, to transport space. It's used for transferring Starship components from Starbase to the Cape. Starships and boosters. If you know E&M Banks, it'll ring a bell. Yeah, You'll Thank Me Later is Culture series? Is it the Culture series? I forget. I have not read those books. So this is Mookafish. Mookafish does 3D. And actually, Space Engineer... I'll show you Mookafish's render in a second, but Space Engineer speculated that his bet is on Marmac 308, launched a week ago, about the same day as the
Discovery,
You'll Thank
go
Me
and throttle
Later
up.
post. This is so Marmac, guys, Marmac is the company that made the other drone ships. All of SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ships, or ASDSs for short, are made out of converted barges. SpaceX basically took a barge, which is basically just a floating platform, right? And they lifted oil rig thrusters originally back in the day and then attached them to the side and put some autonomous spaceport configurations on this thing and called it a day. That was Marmac, what is it, guys? 301, 303, and 304, I think. You don't worry about what happened to 302. Could you hit play, please? No. No, I will not. Now, Marmac 308. Marmac 308 is 300 by 100. So, in meters, give or take, that's 100 meters by 30 meters. That's big. It's a big barge, dude. So Mookafish did those renders showing, a Starship and a Super Heavy. Could they fit on it? Yeah, sure. Why not? Now, personally, if it was me, I wouldn't transport ship and booster like that. I would transport 2 Super Heavies and 2 ships. The reason why is one of these is way heavier than the other, and the whole thing would do this otherwise. There was a 302. I don't remember, William. I think. Can I get a link to that tweet? Which tweet? You flood aside. Yeah, ballast tanks. Counterbalancing 300 tons. I'm aware of ballast tanks, guys. I know how they work. But, I don't know. I guess the aerospace engineer, or the wannabe aerospace engineer in me, is saying, like, why fill the barge with ballast when you could fill it with another booster and get it on an even keel? Like, just put 2 boosters on it, and then you don't have to use any ballast at all. The renders, sorry. Okay, this is Mookafish here. Who's to say they're not going to be vertical? Well, Case, we did see SpaceX in documents from like EISs and stuff. We did see SpaceX describe what's called a breakover device. A breakover device is a nice way of saying something that takes a booster and turns it horizontal. That's it. Make 1 more 308, move 2 boosters and 2 ships at the same time. So, Alex, make 1 more 308. 308 is the serial number. Marmac is the company. So, the next one in line would be Marmac 309. Yeah. It could be the same as a 308, but yeah, that's just for your knowledge. Not a correction, it's just, yeah. If you cared about that. Marmac is the company. The 300 series is 300 is the barge, and then the serial number is what's after that. For, like I said, for the people that care. I didn't hear about a breakover. Yeah, the breakover was in an EIS document. So, I don't know, Case. I wouldn't take this thing out. I wouldn't take this thing out on the high seas with no landing legs on just a transport stool. Because this might happen, right? Like, it's hard to balance that because the ocean is going back and forth. Like, even if you had lines and stuff holding it down, that would also mean you'd need a gigantic freaking crane at the port to be able to, I mean, you'd have to get it on there somehow. Now I'm thinking. So if it was me, what I would do is put my breakover device on Marmac 308. I'd mount the breakover device on it. And then the booster would come to near the dock. You take a lattice crane, you pick it up, you put it on the breakover device, and the breakover device would lie it flat on the barge. And then, you know, you could send it over to where you need to go, right? And then pick it up again on the breakover device, take it off the breakover device, and then put it on a transport stool. And if SpaceX was smart, they would just put the transport stool on the barge already with an just put it on the barge and ship the SPMTs on a truck. Stacked super heavies, 2 on the bottom layer, 1 center top, maximum transportation. You'd need a mega octogravity to transport that vertically. Yeah, that's right. Isn't Gravitas 302? Yeah, Mutter, I guess I wasn't clear enough. I don't know. I forget what the 3 drone ships are. I know one's 303 and 304. There's one of them that's one of them is out of sequence. So it's like 302, 304, and 305, or 301, 303, and 305. It's something weird like that because, they sold the other one. I forget which one is omitted. That's what I mean. Lewis Nags did a render with Block 3 hardware. I'll bet you this is another reason why Super Heavy, albeit not the biggest reason, I'll bet you that's a reason why Super Heavy has 3 grid fins. So this is Lewis Nags that made this one. Follow back. Don't mind if I do. Want to know how this stuff will work? Look at the Blue Origin thing. Yeah, I know, Goalie. I know the breakover device at the port. I'm wondering if you put the breakover device on the barge, if you build it onto the ship, you never have to worry about going. All you need is a lattice crane and some SPMTs. So breakover device, right? On the barge, lattice crane, pick it up, put it on the breakover device. Breakover device takes it horizontal on the barge, right? And then you take the ship transport stool and you pick that thing up, put that on the barge, right? And then send it. There's plenty of room for a transport stool here. But if you put the breakover device in here, there's not, and you'd want to put the breakover device dead center. But we did say that we know that this thing is about 30 meters wide. It's 33 meter wide. Yeah, you'd have trouble. The transport still would have to be at the front. You'd have to put it up at the front. The issue is the cape overhead stuff can't drive or vertical. Okay. You wouldn't even need a crane. You could use hydraulics to raise and lower it off the stand. A crane would be way easier than trying to design a strong back for the thing spoiled. But yes, you could do that. Because if you have a strong back for it that's going to take it horizontal, you have a crane that you need to put the booster onto that strong back anyway. And if you have a strong back, why have a strong back with hydraulics when you just have a breakover device that's just a hinge and then just have the crane move and drop it down? You know what I mean? The crane is already there. Is it better to have breakover devices at shipping and receiving, one at KSC and one at Starbase? Well, yeah, Andrew, sure, but so my thing is, how are you going to move this thing? How are you going to move that booster horizontally? So that would mean they'd need to, if the barge is right here, if Marmac 308 is here, you roll the booster in on its transport stand. You'd have to pick it up. When you pick it up with a crane, you'd need another crane to grab the back and take it horizontal. So this crane would lower and this crane would pick up a little bit, right? Now you have two cranes. Right? Or you could just set it, well, no, you wouldn't need the second crane. You set it on the breakover device and it takes it horizontal. Now what? Now what do you do with it? If the breakover device is, if the barge is right here, the breakover device is here, and it's horizontal, now what do you do? You notice they're trying to reduce their reliance on cranes. Yeah. You would only need one at Starbase. The Cape can go back vertical like how we stand Atlas and Vulcan. So now what? Now, what now you'd need two cranes here to pick this thing up and put it on the barge, right? Strange. Unless they're going to roll it onto the barge. What if they take it to KSC vertical? I would not have this thing vertical on a drone ship. No, I wouldn't do that. Look, man, Falcon 9s can tip over in rough seas. What is Super Heavy going to do? They weld the pieces at the Cape. I don't think that's what this means, Artfest, to be honest with you. I think they're going to build them in Boca and then ship them to the Cape because the Cape's launch pad, 39A is almost finished. And when I say almost, I mean it's more than 50% complete. Let's say that. Meaning the pad is almost finished, but the factory to build starships at the Cape is not anywhere close to being finished. That's not it. It's not close to being finished. Right? So you're going to need to transport full ships. You have no factory there to even send them in pieces like a proverbial super heavy knockdown kit. And then send it in pieces and then build it there. You hear a Kerbal build. We did build a crane the other day, guys. I built a telescoping crane, or at least I showed you guys the telescoping crane. We could do that if you wanted to build cranes. I'm down for building cranes in Kerbal. I like building cranes. It's fun. Picking up stuff is cool. When the tower sections got moved, 3-foot waves was the minimum allowable. That's why it was a nightmare moving them. Yeah. You ever gonna build a big boy crane in Kerbal? I'd have to build custom parts in Maya or something, Graham, if we really wanted to do it. If we wanted to do it how... That's the only way we'd need Kerbal attached. I would need cables if we were going to build a lattice crane. A telescoping crane, though, is mostly hydraulic, with the exception of the cables. I have a spec sheet for Libra 13K. I know, a lot of people do. I know an operator of a Libra 13K. Does that help? I can get you a flight coming back from Chicago at 5:55. Does that help? Hi, I'm Earth. Have we met? Oh, well, I don't think so. So I got another question. Why are we transporting starships upside down? Lewis and Mookafish's render have these upside down. The heat shield? What? To protect the tiles? To not damage the tiles? You think so? You think they can't put this thing on the tiles? You sure? The shuttle didn't touch the tiles. Yeah, and I don't know if you guys knew, throughout the shuttle program, they in fact never transported it upside down. That in fact never happened. In fact, there's specific instructions here. This is here. No, I'm serious. There was a specific thing in the manual. See? Attach orbiter here, black side down. See what I'm saying? Like, shuttle never got transported upside down. Just saying. Like, see, it says it right there. Maybe it's because the ship is already designed to take load in that direction during re-entry. If it can stand up by itself, Builder, like, vertically, I don't know, maybe. Starship likes belly scratches. Maybe. The shuttle's ascent trajectory was upside down. What kind of copium am I listening to here? This is some copium. I must have the working tower done for your starship. Yum food. It has sensors for simulated catch. What the hell? You're doing that? Okay. Thank you. I've worked with tail-heavy poles erected by crane, and I've got to agree with EJ. Crane lift is easier if it's already vertical. And KSC is built for vertical mobility anyway. So just put the breakover device on the barge. Yeah, Bill, that's what makes the most sense to me. The shuttle is so 1980s. It's over. It's over. Get with the new technology. Would it not be about the mounting points for the breakover, keeping them away from the tiles? Yeah, I mean, yeah. The other thing, okay, yeah, that's probably right, guys. Like, that's the simplest way that makes the most sense to transport one of these things. If you have a big enough holder for this thing, or if SpaceX has some kind of mounting point over here, you should be able to, you should be able to put holders on the TPS. Like, that should be okay. But maybe they don't want to do that. Dudes, I got it. Shut up. Everybody shut up. Shut up. I just figured it out. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Nope. Nope. Stop. Nope. EJ's got it. He's a little slow, but he got it. Look. Have you guys ever seen how they move the external tank? Did you get anybody familiar with that? How the external tank got transported around. Okay, you can talk now. You don't need to shut up anymore. Anybody know? So the ET, I'm looking through my shuttle research pictures. I have to show you. The external tank, gotta find the right picture. Here, I'll show you guys scrolling through the pictures. It don't matter. You guys can see the pictures. They're nice pictures. So right there, see this thing, the toolkit right there. The external tank has side points where the SRB is attached to it, right? And the jig to move these things looks like a wishbone. It's like an SBMT and a chicken wing kind of had a baby, I guess. Why do I not have a picture of one? So the external tank was hoisted on the sides. It was hoisted up by its SRB attachment points. Right? Right? I do have a lot of cool shuttle pictures in here. That's the app cargo carrier. There's just this random Atlas Centaur just is in my shuttle folder for whatever reason. I just want, yeah, and there's an SLS core stage. That kind of counts. That's it. There's them testing the tank at 4670. And tunnel testing. There's the jig for picking up the shuttle. There's a rendezvous pitch maneuver. Nice. Nice. There's the external tank holding pen in the VAB. Could hold 4 of them, in case anybody was wondering. I guess I don't. Oh, that snuck in here too. But that's technically shuttle hardware, so it's okay. Here. So the external tank has a... Actually, I do have a picture of it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. So check this out, guys. Look. Of course, it's a freaking stupid... Yeah, okay. California Science Center. All right, whatever. Yeah, here's a good one. That's the abandoned external tank. That's north of KSC. So check it out, dudes. Look. See, the ET is designed to be held up. It's designed to be held up from its forward SRB attachment points, right? And then the back of this, right? You have your, you know, it's basically a trailer, right? You have your wheels and it goes all the way back. And this back piece can attach, or, I mean, it can just kind of hang in there. But, see, fellas, you don't need a trailer because it's on a breakover device, right? And you definitely don't need this back piece because the breakover device is going to be there. What does Starship have like that? What does Starship have like that? The catch pins, dude. It has the catch pins. Right there. If that's good enough to hold the whole ship up from the chopsticks, it's good enough to hold this thing tiles down. And the breakover device, right? The breakover device, when they take it horizontally, it'll just hold the catch pins from the side. It works basically, well, exactly like the external tank. That's my guess. That's why, yeah, I don't think they're going to need to transport them upside down. They could use the catch pins. Whatever, see these holder pieces that Lewis did right here? Those holder pieces don't even need to be a holder piece. It just be it look like a chicken wing, right? And then just have basically 2 chopsticks on the side. And there you go. The catch pins. Yeah, you don't even need to do this. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with the booster. I have no idea, because unless this grid fin, right? Unless that grid fin can turn 90 degrees for transport purposes, right? You'd need it to turn 90 degrees because the catching point is on the grid fin, right? Just verticate the barge. Demon, what was your space news that you linked a little bit earlier, dude? I missed it. Yeah, I mean, there's just design your grid fins to turn 90 degrees, and if they turn 90 degrees, you could just set them down on the grid fins. It doesn't matter. It has the catch point on it anyway. Oh, this is cool, man. Dude, this is getting fun. You know, my buddy Jack Beyer over at NSF often says that like V3 is the end of the beginning of Starship, right? It's the end of the beginning. But you know what, man? The main course is probably really good. The end of the beginning, this was just the appetizers. We got the good stuff. You know, all the stuff that you're going to need to like mass produce starships and move them around. Right? Oh. Yeah, it kind of is Mutter, but no, I didn't. Some extra space news. A few technical drawings came across my desk today for an interesting company. Not sure if you've covered them before. Check them out. It's New Orbit Space. Interesting angle they've got. An air-breathing ion engine. Small sat company. Ooh, okay. New Orbit Space. Okay. So yeah, fellas, on the ship, you have your breakover device, and then you have your pins. The breakover... Actually, fellas, I just thought of another thing. If SpaceX was really smart, and they are, the transport stool would interface to the breakover device. The stool, not the bottom of the booster. Transport stool's already there. You need it. You need to take it anyway. Unless you want another transport stool waiting around at KSC, right? But that doesn't make any sense, right? Why do that? You already have a transport stool. You're going to need, it's not like you're not going to need more transport stools, right? Right? So, yeah, Bill, right? The best way to do this is drive it on SPMTs to Brownsville. Say my hand is our proverbial transport stool. Pick it up with the transport stool, put it on the breakover device, which is on the barge, and turn the whole thing horizontal. And then over here, have the catch pins over here. That's why I got it, dudes. That's why the new transfer tube is so beefy. Or one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why the new transfer tube is like as big as a Falcon 9 and it's ribbed out, it's ribbed like crazy because it needs to be strong because they're taking the booster horizontally. Aha! Yeah. Do you think the catch pin is built in at the bottom of the new flap? It is, Yum Food. That's not do I think. SpaceX confirmed that. It is. It's the bottom of the grid fin. The new grid fins have a catch point integrated into the design, right about where my fingertip is. It's right in the center of the grid fin. And they're the new catch points. Now, if your booster is going horizontal and you have two grid fins on either side, just take the grid fin and make it so the grid fins can stow into a 90-degree position like that, and then just put a set down point. Your breakover device, your transport stool. Heck, you could make this even simpler by having your transport stool be able to be stacked sideways. That's how they're going to do it. That's how they're going to do it. So, Bill, hear me out here. Your transport stool, right? The transport stool can have legs going this way and legs going that way. SPMTs move it. They pick the whole thing up, put it on the SPMT, or take it off the SPMT, right? You put it on the breakover device, right? And then you have another stool here that's designed to grab the grid fins or grab the catch pins, right? And you could set the whole thing down horizontally, like this. No external pieces, nothing. You're held down by the hold down points on the thrust structure, which is insanely strong. And the grid fins need to hold up the entire booster when it gets caught. Also insanely strong. I'd be worried about the booster sagging at this point in the center, but that is the simplest way. And then once it's horizontal, right, you attach the catch points, and your transport stool's already attached, and then you can just use 2 cranes, pick it up, and put it right on the barge. Or, if SpaceX want to get super crazy, SBMT underneath the back, SBMT underneath the front, steer that thing and roll right onto the barge. That makes it so you could have a breakover device. You have a breakover device at Boca, or at Brownsville, and you could have one at KSC, or you could just take the breakover device with you. Probably needs a pressurization machine to ship with it. Guys, the barge ain't going to be flat. It's going to look like an ASDS for all the paraphernalia needed to keep the thing pressurized, Bill. Right? Like, just put the nose cone on the booster and fly it there. Maybe in the future. That was my question earlier. Would they need to pressurize with something inert for structural integrity? For a horizontal move predominant? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. For sure. Yeah, that's not even a judgment call. You'd absolutely have to keep the booster pressurized. That's what they do with Falcon. Falcon cannot be moved. Falcon can't be tipped over unless the tanks are pressurized. Not at flight pressure, but they need to be pressurized. It can't move. You'd break it in half. That's how delicate these things are. They're not. I know it seems like rockets are really strong and robust, but they're not. They are not as strong and robust as you might think. They're just really designed to resist forces in certain directions. They got that soda can strength. That's right. Yep. Can you break over the booster at the Mega Bay Atlas 5 style? Not sure if it could make the turn out of the factory, though. So, Ordon, what I would do if it was me, once again, and this is what, so I just told you a second ago that you'd make one of the transport stands with 2 legs sticking out the side like this, and then you'd have another transport stand that picks up on the catch points, right? And you'd use SBMTs to lift this stuff up and move it. Now, at this point, how do you get it vertical again? The chopsticks would do you right. You could attach a crane to the front, pick the thing up, right? Oh, you'd need a pivot on the back. The breakover device is going to need to have wheels. It's going to have wheels. So this is going to end up looking like the damn external tank. Because if you could just use the chopsticks to take them vertical, right? If the transport stand had some kind of wheel on it, the whole thing would end up looking like a dolly, right? You could just have the, well, no, your thing would be on the catch points. Fellas, let me put it to you like this. This is the reason why the external tank attachment point has provisions for like 5 attachment points on it. Look. So when the external tank is being transported on its stand, it's using the SRB bolt. The bolt from the SRB goes through here like that. And when it's being transported, it uses that because that's the strongest thing. But if you look, there's also, this is where all your electronics from the SRB are going in. So that's not structural. This point over here, though, absolutely is. The crane picks it up from here when it goes into the VAB, or when it went into the VAB. See, if you look, the crane is picking it up from a fixture on the side. Hand truck for the booster. Let me see. Yeah, that. Pretty much that. Dude, these are the problems that I like solving. This is why GSE is cool. I enjoy this stuff. You would have to make a type of fixture up there at the top of the booster that works like that. See, they actually pick up the ET from the side. Not a lot of people know that. It's the side of the attachment point. Because if you picked it up from the SRB attachment point, how are you going to attach it to the SRB when you go to stack it in the vehicle assembly building? It has to be picked up from somewhere else. So they have the pin, the SRB pin here. You have your hoisting point right there, and then you have your avionics point right here. Hold on a second, fellas. Let's look around. We know that that surface right there, this is the grid fins, right? SpaceX posted this stuff the other day. We know that that bumper surface right there, this convex point, that is the catch point. Now, if the grid fins are doing something like I think they're doing, like the external tank, it's going to have another place to attach something. Do we see any other places where you could attach something to this? So this is your pivot axle. There's a spherical bearing in there from, well, not a spherical, probably a linear bearing. Right? Now let's look at Lewis's render here. Right, so that triangular piece is basically where, see this? Okay. So the outside of the booster is right here. Basically this flange plate right there. See this structural plate right here? You wouldn't want to trip and fall on that thing. Yeah, tell that to that guy. Yeah, there's not much in the way of other attachment points here, but the grid fin could be... Huh. I missed the shuttle. Yeah, me too, man. There's a bird near the CP-11 starbase. Huh. What do the jagged edges do? Vargon... I just figured out the grid fin thing, but I'll shelf that for a second. The jagged edges, the best way I can describe it is they cut up air. They slice through the air at hypersonic speeds. So the short technical way of explaining it is that grid fins are designed to cause hypersonic turbulence. The only way you can get, that's the only way you can control stuff at speed. Because Vargon said, like, think about if you had a regular control surface. You turn that thing when you're going Mach 7, right? The air is going to get pushed this way, and then it's going to compress and it's going to push back. You're not moving any air. It doesn't have a lot of control moment, right? You don't really have a lot. Not a lot of control moment. The grid fins slice through the air like a cheese grater. So, okay, Vargon, this is going to be stupid. I'm going to make a food analogy, okay? And sorry, it's because I'm hungry. All right, so... Vargon, you've used a cheese grater before. One side, you can grate the cheese in slices, right? Like it'll make like a flat piece of cheese, right? The other side, you turn it around, you do that, it creates grated cheese, right? You get a lot of tiny little pieces of cheese, right? That the side that makes a lot of little grated pieces of cheese, that's what a grid fin does to air. Straight up. That's the right way to say it. Because at hypersonic speeds, you are splitting air molecules apart because of compression. Air compression causes the air to ionize, right? And it shoots plasma out in different directions. right? That plasma gets channeled through the holes on the grid fins. That's why one side of the grid fin is pointy and the other side is not. Those points right there grade air like a cheese grater grades cheese. That's a good way to say it. That's a good visualization. And grading, slicing the air like that into a bunch of little pieces, right? It makes it easier to, you have more control at higher speeds, at hypersonic speeds. Long story short, that's what a hypersonic control surface looks like. It doesn't look like a wing or an aerofoil because that's not going to do anything. That's not going to do you any good at Mach 10. Yeah, Varga, that's the right way to say it. It's a cheese grater for air going like 7,000 miles an hour. Yeah, that's a good way to say that. That's a good plain English way of saying that. You just helped me dial that analogy in. That was a good one. But yeah, that's the way it does it. So, more technical explanation if you really want. If you look at the point on each grid, there's a flat spot. See that? See the flat spot? That flat spot is that's on purpose. That's not there because it needs to be, because it's cool or that's just a manufacturing byproduct or anything. Those flat spots are there on purpose. That is going to compress the air. Like I'm telling you, you're going to get crazy compression on that flat point. And what that's going to do is rip the air molecules apart. And when they rip apart, they ionize, and that creates a plasma streak. And that plasma streak, right, gets shot out basically into the grid fin. If you notice, each grid fin is kind of like a square, right? Now, if you look, right, these flat spots basically look like a plus sign, right? So where's that plasma going to go? That's right. It goes in the square hole. It's going to vector the plasma at hypersonic speeds, that plasma boundary layer, into the grid fin, and it's going to bounce. It'll go this way, and it'll bounce off and go out the bottom. It'll vector it into the square hole. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It goes into the square hole. That's entirely on purpose. These flat spots are there for a very good reason. You need those. Without those, you're not going to split the air correctly. The crazy thing about this is, I should have seen that coming. The crazy thing about this, dude, right? The nutty part about it is that the grid fin doesn't do that from the other side. That's why one side of the grid fin is flat and the other side isn't. The flat side, the air just passes right through. There's no flat edge, there's no point on the other side of the grid fin. It's just completely flat. That means the grid fin is not doing as much aerodynamically on the way up rather than when it's coming back down. It's like how if you take a plane and you tried to fly it backwards somehow, you wouldn't generate lift in the same way that you were flying forwards. Because the aerofoil is designed to receive laminar flow from one direction. Basically, air needs to flow over the plane front to back because it was designed for air to flow front to back. If it flows back to front, the plane is not going to plane very well. But that's the idea with grid fins. You do not want them causing drag on the way up and screwing your center of pressure on the vehicle. That's part of the reason why when Starship flies, Starship executes that roll program and it flies into space sideways like this, with the fins vertical like that, to not screw with the center of pressure, because putting aero control surfaces at the top of a rocket is generally a bad idea. You don't want to do that. The reason why you don't want to do that, okay, just think about a generic looking rocket in your mind. What does it look like? The fins are down the bottom, right? There's a very good reason for that. Putting them at the top will make it want to fly backwards. Why does New Glenn use normal fins then instead of grids? I have no freaking idea why they chose an airfoil control surface. Hater, I have no idea. Couldn't figure that one out. That's not to say... Okay. That's not to say that it's a bad idea. If I had to guess, because New Glenn is using LNG, it's going to fly extremely far down range. So there's that whole angle of attack thing. It has wings right here. New Glenn has wings on the side, right? It has a wing right here and right here, and then you have aero control surfaces. If I had to guess, Nader, because of this, they're going to need to do a boost back, right? Or not a boost back. It's going to need to turn around, right? And it probably, if I had to guess, New Glenn can probably enter at a very shallow angle and spend more time in the air. And if you spend more time in the air, you know, that big bulbous engine section that they have is probably going to slow them down to a speed where these become effective. And they're probably lofting the flight trajectory like crazy on a New Glenn landing because of the wings. The long story short, the wings at the front are why it has wings and not grid fins. Bulbous, yep. Off topic. This week I learned the thing that was missing in my life was MATLAB. MATLAB's pretty cool. If math serves me left, Seacracken, MATLAB was made by a company called MathWorks. I drove by MathWorks' headquarters. It's in Natick, Massachusetts. I used to drive on it on the way to work at Best Buy. Yep. I used to drive by their world headquarters all the time. It's right next to a McDonald's. I'm serious. You want to see? You want to see? Let's see. I can show you. So I grew up over here. And there's two ways to get to Framingham from here. One is to take the Mass Pike. So I-90. That's a toll road. I don't feel like taking a toll road. The other way is the non-toll road, which is Route 9. That's that road right there. See that road? See that road? Well, MathWorks World Headquarters is right there. It's that. There's their campus right there. They also have another campus over here on the other side of Lake Contituate. All of that. Now, down the street from MathWorks, said down the street from MathWorks, Google, hello, is a McDonald's. See, there it is. Yay! I used to take that road all the time, dude. I used to take this road because Route 9 goes to the Best Buy that I used to work at. Come on. Hey, that's PetSmart. Best Buy. That's the Best Buy I worked at. That was the last regular job that I did before streaming. Now show us the Twinkie factory in Natick. So little asterisks on that Panta. It wasn't a Twinkie factory per se. It was a Wonder Bread factory. And it was right here. Yeah. Little asterisks on that. Google. Come on. Started learning CAD in your engineering course, and I hate the fact that SolidWorks is a dumb corporate CAD software that I can't use at home. Yeah. Yeah, it's a mall where the factory was. Panta. Also, Family Guy reference acknowledged. Yeah, it's a mall. That's the Natick Mall. They used to have a good arcade once upon a time. See, there's the Wonder Bread factory. That's when it was working. It had train tracks. The bread train was bringing raw materials into the Wonder Bread factory. And it smelled amazing. Do you like my take on the shuttle? It's a little boxy, but yeah, it looks fine. Grain train when workers. So, Seacracken, a long time ago, my parents used to take me to the Natick Mall. The Natick Mall was built in like the early 90s. Right? That picture's from 1995. So, like, this is when it was brand new. But, and they built it across from that Wonder Bread factory. And my parents used to take me to the Natick Mall. And they would always, because we were coming from Newton, we'd come this way, right? And you'd go into this parking garage right there. That was like, you know, when malls were a thing, you had the parking garage that you parked in, right? This was the parking garage that we parked in. And every time we did, the spur line for the train was right here. So you could always see what, like, the locomotives and the trains right there. See they have the hopper car right there? The grain train, baby. Right there. So yeah, Panta, it wasn't a Twinkie factory, it was a Wonder Bread factory. And it smelled amazing all the freaking time. And now it's a Neiman Marcus and a Nordstrom. So, you know, that's cool. I'd prefer Wonder Bread Factory, to be honest with you. The mall is kind of cool, though. And then there's a luxury apartments attached to the mall. For some reason. And the parking garage of my youth is no longer there. Were you in Florida when the Moretta Bread Factory was on I-4? No. I don't think so. Here's the new BF6 update if you want to check it. I have the trailer open already, Vesper. Check Alex's tweet from 10 minutes ago. Okay, little stroll down memory lane from me is done. Back to talking about grid fins and breakover devices. So a tweet from Alex, you say? Almost 9 years ago, time flies. Kind of crazy how things have changed. Oh, ITS, my beloved. You know, that's not far off, man, landing on the pad. That ain't far off, dude. I think that's the Factorio in you saying that. Yeah, maybe. Oh, also, D has a really good picture of a breakover device. The second stage breakover device. Look. Can't play the music. There's a breakover device right there. Wow. Dude, look. One stage goes out and another one's teed up, ready to go. You've got to be kidding me, dude. That's so sick. Oh, man. I'm happy. So, you know, Dawson, D, and everybody, and Jack got to, you know, have some fun with going to McGregor and stuff. And see that once the stage is upright, the service gantries will roll into position. See, they folded down into position. There's your second stage test stand. Oh, that's so sick, dude. Come on now. Footage from D is so clutch. D is a damn good cinematographer. He's pretty good. Pretty good. That's a great picture. Look at that picture. I still like the idea of rotating the barge instead. Yeah. Yeah. Why does the top look like an Apollo capsule? So that's a FOD cover, Pelly Joe. The top of the stage is pill-shaped. And then all the brains of Falcon 9 are on top of the second stage, believe it or not. And you would put a payload attachment fitting, what's called a path, on top of that. And the PAF would be it'd be conic, but it would also have a spot to attach a satellite, and then the provisions to attach the fairings to the side, right? You're obviously not doing that right now. So the on the stage, the PAF attachment point just has a cover over it instead, so nothing up there, the brains of Falcon 9 doesn't get screwed up for like a bird flying into it or something. It's what's called a FOD cover, right? It's basically a dummy payload attachment fitting, a FOD cover, just so like a bird doesn't go pecking away at Falcon 9's avionics. That's part of the reason why they can move these stages around. Like, if you look, they're just moving the stages around on a trailer. It's just on a trailer. That's... One goes up, the other one comes in. See that? It's just a cover. That's all. Just a FOD cover. Now, interesting thing. So, Pelly, it's an interesting thing to bring up. So, check this out. Anybody know what those are? Those are HVAC tubes. That's an air conditioner, right? That right there is because they're obviously turning the computers on, right? You're turning the computers on the Falcon 9 second stage to test it, right? Obviously doing that. You got to keep the computer cool because the computer's baking inside of this cover in the Texas sun all day, right? So that's what these vent lines are for. Those lines are to keep the avionics cool. That's why they have an HVAC system up here. See, look, when the stage activates, you see the lines start moving around with the stage. Hey, AJ, I'm about to drive towards a tornado. Can you, Aaron, can you do the opposite of that and drive away from the tornado, please? Isn't this the same thing on top of the new thing going into High Bay 1? Yeah, kind of, David, right? Yeah. Nader's like, I like driving at tornadoes. You know, if it was any other day, guys, I would just... Ooh, Chet went to Tillamook. Chet's cool. He's an engineer at Astra. You know, what is... All right, hold on. I'm going to click on that. Is it something to do with SpaceX? Nope, post was deleted. Okay. Anyway, dude, that was fun talking about breakover devices and stuff. I think Starship is going to be transported tile side down. And I think they're just going to use the catch pins on both of those things to transport them. Now, whether the transport stool can be able to be stacked horizontally, or now if the transport stool can be stacked horizontally, if they're going to put the breakover device directly on the ship, I would just put the breakover device on the ship. And guys, I would even go so far as to building a cover for the whole thing. Here. If anyone is familiar with an Atlas D, please don't make a joke. I swear to God. An Atlas D ICBM. So how an old Atlas ICBM worked is it wasn't really in a silo. It was in a building, and the building had a retractable roof, and the thing popped. They verticated it after they retracted the roof. Here, maybe it's in this information reel. All right, we gotta be careful. Oh, this reel looks sick. You know what, dude? Let's just... That's a static fire.
Is across the country to enlarge.
Back up. There we go. All right, let's see.
During 1957, giant trailers bearing large, cloaked, cylindrical objects have left California. and moved across the country to the East Coast. Under the nylon security cover, being transported from factory to test area, is Atlas,
That's right,
one
Methane.
of our intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Dude, nice Nomad.
The
You see
people of
that thing?
America have been little aware of the significance of these movements. For most, as the trailers rolled over the bridges, past the farmlands, and through the cities, for most people watching, this was just another tank, or boiler, or oil rig. Too many strange objects have passed over the highways of this country for people to wonder anymore. But during 1957, events occurred in other parts of the world that focused attention on these covered missiles. Russia announced in rapid order the test of the ICBM, the satellite Sputnik 1, then Sputnik 2. Talk of missiles to the moon and beyond became commonplace. This awareness brought mixed reactions.
Why don't they go all out on a crash program basis on these ICBMs?
I don't know. We did it when we made the atomic bomb. We can produce all right. Trouble is, it takes us too long.
Yeah, the time between developing something and getting it out in the field is ridiculous.
Talk about a lost weekend.
Man, those words are relevant pertaining to space races. That's really strange. Did you hear that? Listen to this next part.
Made the atomic bomb. We can produce all right. Trouble is, it takes us too long.
Yeah, the time between developing something and getting it out in the field is ridiculous.
Talk about a lost...
Hey, Chrome, what's up, man? That's relevant.
Lost weekend? What happened to the 8 years between 45 and 53?
Trouble is, we don't have enough push behind this missile program.
I wonder if they ever
What the hell?
really got one of those ICBMs off the ground down there in Florida.
I don't know, but I hear the fission's good down there. We're probably so bound up in red tape we can't move.
Right, we need to streamline, expedite.
Gee, this ended up being super relevant. Holy crap.
Right.
You know, we better train some more scientists and engineers real soon or we'll be in trouble.
I got a cousin knows a guy that works on missiles, says they're too complicated.
The trouble is, the military...
Can we just, like, play this for anybody that has, like, a stakeholder expectation for NASA? Please?
Discovery, go at throttle up.
We've been here before, Galaxy. What the hell?
Military want to run things their way.
You know what Fred says? There must be something wrong in Denmark. Why run so many tests, he says?
Out of all the talk, one idea predominated. Is there something wrong with our ICBM program?
What the hell? What the hell? What the... I didn't know they knew about SLS back then. That's awesome.
A major part of the story on the Air Force's ballistic missile program can be told. It is time for everyone to meet an ICBM.
Hello.
To understand our nation's approach to this important
Oh, hey, look,
weapon.
Complex 14.
Here is the missile being raised on its test stand at the Missile Test Center.
Oh, look. The launch pad's a breakover device. Oh, that's weird.
Cape Canaveral, Florida.
That's real
This
strange.
is Atlas, being prepared for flight test in 1957. But why 57? Why wasn't this being done in 56 or 55 or even 54?
That's a good question.
Why are we so late?
Yeah.
To find out why, let us go back to the closing days of World War II. We all remember the vivid reports that Vengeance
Yeah,
Weapon
this
number
one's gonna
2,
go sideways.
a missile that hurtled out of the skies without warning, was being used on London and Antwerp.
Oh, that one didn't
The
go
V2,
sideways. Maybe
for
it's
its
that
day,
one.
was a remarkable missile. It opened the door, it seemed, to a new concept in warfare. In 1946, after hostilities had ceased, a number of V2s were brought back to the United States for study and evaluation. At the White Sands Proving Grounds, tests were conducted to learn something of its construction and potential. The score on the V2 added up to this. It was a short-range missile of approximately 200 miles. It carried a small payload of about 3,000 pounds of high explosive. Its guidance was crude, especially if applied to longer ranges. While of value to the Germans...
The V2's guidance system is basically the equivalent of using a CAL controller to fire a missile and have it come down relatively precise. Like, that's the equivalent. Yeah, it's a mechanical computer. It's not great.
Carrying the short distance from France to England and Holland, such a weapon was of little value to us in the foreseeable future. We, on the other hand, needed a long-range, high-payload device. Could the V-2 be improved? Certainly, if given the benefit of sufficient research and development.
All it's
But
designed
how
to do is
long
just
would
go
this
up
take?
and pitch,
How big the budget?
and then come back
And,
down.
most importantly, what would we do in the meantime? It was soon apparent, after World War II,
Hey,
that relations with our
T-34-85s
former
and
ally Russia
Katyushas.
could not be based on
Right.
mutual understanding. Russia's counter-aim of world domination was clear-cut. To block this Russian objective, we needed a powerful aerial force in being, not one on paper or in a prototype testing stage.
Oh, is that a B-58?
In short, we needed a strategic air command with the capability of striking at the heart of the USSR.
B-47, B-52. I'm not sure what that is over there. I think I saw a Canberra there as well.
Starting in 46,
Yeah, Canberra, F-86, and an F-101, it looks like. Nice.
we built our new bombers.
Oh, what a piece
Our
of
B-36s, our B-47,
not junk.
Then our B-52s.
Very much not junk.
And on to the B-58. We had to be ready at any given minute,
also not
of any
junk.
given day, of any given year. SAC met this challenge, and as has so often been stated, has been the big stick keeping peace in the world. It still remains so today.
The B-58,
But although
my
our main
beloved.
emphasis was placed on the manned strategic
Right,
bomber,
Joe?
this does not mean that all else was forgotten. We worked on tactical missiles like the Matador, on long-range air-breathing missiles like Snark and Navajo.
Regless? Perhaps.
All of these various projects, while perhaps not sufficiently emphasized in light of today's events, did help the Air Force to understand the problems of pilotless missiles and to begin to build its operational force.
Bye-bye.
Russia, in the meantime, not hampered by having to police the world, could concentrate on
and possibly in Mexico, judging by the filters here.
whatever weapon of war she desired. Since Russia did not have to worry about aggressive attack from the free world, she could jump ahead and develop weapons of the future at her discretion. This, as we now know, she did, starting as far back as 1946. During the 46 to 53 period, very little was done in examining the ICBM idea, with the exception of Project MX774. This project was a small contract with the Convair division of the General Dynamics Corporation, the same company now producing the airframes for Atlas.
Is that
The
guy fueling that rocket by
MX774 can
hand?
rightly be called the granddaddy of today's Atlas. It was an independent American development and not a copy of the German V-2.
That's right.
Tests of this vehicle were run in 1947 with very encouraging results. However, the project was canceled. So, the ICBM...
Gee! It's almost like this has happened before. I've told you this, that it's very interesting that this is kind of like what happened, you know, like in the past, you know, RE space races and stuff. Did you hear what he said? Listen.
And not a copy of the German V-2. Tests of this vehicle were run in 1947 with very encouraging results. However, the project was canceled.
Oh boy!
So, the ICBM ready for firing today is not the result of 12 years of development. There were 8 lean years. What then of 54, 55, 56, 57? Has satisfactory progress been made once we did intensify
Why are we
the
so
program?
dumb? Stop being
It is the
dumb!
considered opinion of most missile scientists that good progress has been made. Exceptionally good when one considers the complex effort it takes to produce something as strikingly new and different as an ICBM. A missile like Atlas looks simple and clean, just a hollow shell with fuel inside, is what many people think. Actually, this hollow shell contains some 300,000 precision components.
This gleaming metallic instrument is being developed in a race against time. The Air Force plans to win by taking calculated risks based on sound technical judgment. Only once before, in the Manhattan Project, has this nation taken a comparable gamble of such billion-dollar immensity. That time, the stake was atomic energy to stop a war. This time, we aim for a ballistic missile force to keep the peace.
Fittingly, it was a gamble with nuclear energy that was one of the key factors in finally triggering off the present stepped-up ICBM program. When we achieved a breakthrough in thermonuclear or hydrogen weapons in 53-54, thinking changed overnight. Now it was possible to have a warhead of a size and weight in keeping with the overall ballistic missile concept.
We had our powerful warhead. However, to go ahead with the ICBM idea, another problem had to be solved. The missile's nose cone, which contains this tremendous explosive force, had to re-enter the atmosphere without destroying itself before reaching the target area.
I was just looking for how to put an Atlas missile together, but, you know, this video actually ended up being superbly relevant. We don't need insert tech here. We've never needed it before. Why would we need it in the future? Yeah, I know. That's strange. That's so stupid. We made our own ICBM. Dude, like, I knew, but also, like, just, it's very, very crazy how relevant that actually is, you know, to, like, NASA nowadays. Save the video? Yeah, I was just, that's a freaking cool video. I was just looking for how they put an Atlas missile together. It's funny because they had a breakover device and stuff, but, I was trying to see if they actually ever show it being integrated. It looks like this is just only vertical launches. Spoiler alert, their prototype exploded, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, it blew up. Not relevant, more just a look into the mirror. It really is, yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. See, I was saying that Starship is going to, that barge, they're probably going to cover it, right? Because you don't want Starship getting exposed to the elements any more than it has to, right? Like, I mean, I suppose it'd be fine, but you could put a cover on it and have the breakover device inside and then have a retractable roof, you know? Where can I find this video? It's on the Atlas Wiki page. You guys want a link to the video? Yeah, sure, man. I'll just link you guys up to the page. It's here. But yeah, that video is cool. We should watch that more. What barge? That one. The SpaceX bought Marmac 308. It's a 300-foot by 100-foot barge, and they're going to use it to move starships from they're going to use it to move starships from Texas to Florida, sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. Oh dear. Okay. Lovely. You ever notice how progress only happens in fits and starts about 15 to 20 years after a military event, when all the ex-military get into the government to try to stop the cluster from happening again, and then 10 years out, all the old farts take over again? Yeah, Tessa, I'm picking up what you're laying down. In your particular case, the thing that we're dealing with is the end of the Cold War. The defense industry went belly up at the end of the Cold War because, oh, we don't have an enemy, so why should we keep defending ourselves? We don't have an enemy. It's yeah, it's not great. Not a smart, it wasn't a smart thing to do. 300 by 100. Anyway, fellas, that's got a little bit of a problem. The problem is that I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I have a meeting with 15 minutes that I thought was supposed to be tomorrow, because the meeting that I have in 15 minutes is with people on the other side of the world. I'll bet you can guess what this meeting's about. So I thought it was tomorrow. So I'm going to probably have to go do this, and then, I don't know, do we come back for summer car? Tell Dean I said hi. Yes. Now Long March 5. So I don't know how long this is going to take, dudes, to be honest with you. If it takes over an hour, and it might take over an hour, I might just do another, tomorrow, I might just do another all-day MSC day and grind out another 8 to 9 hours of summer car. I should have, we're running out of time. That's my problem here. I do want to play Stationeers too, yes, but definitely MSC got you hooked. So, yes, Sea Kraken. Yesterday I played MSC straight through. No Space News. I did, because we did Space News today. I wanted to play MSC today, but I had to I finally figured out stuff with my accountant, which I don't really want to talk about. Let's just say that my wallet hurts. And we'll leave it at that. I'm serious. This isn't me being cryptic or speaking in riddles. That didn't end well. Not paying your taxes until now. That was not a cool thing for them to do, but that's what happened. No, I don't want to talk about it. I really don't. So I'm going to stop. Weather guy. So, I didn't, Pontiff. My accountant played chicken for me with the IRS. I didn't really have a choice in the matter, which just I don't want to talk about it. Yep. Okay. So, fellas, I think what we'll do, unfortunately, is this meeting's going to take some time. So, I think the best plan here is to stop for the night. Unfortunately, it kills me to say that, but yeah, I thought this meeting was tomorrow because the people that it's with, the people that the meeting is with, it is tomorrow. So my brain didn't put 2 and 2 together because I'm an idiot. This is totally on me. I apologize. We will grind out like 12 hours of summer car tomorrow to make up for it, okay? Yeah, you're stunned. Yeah, please take my ego down a peg or two. I need it after today. Thanks, EJ. Hey, thanks, Chrome. Yo, Chrome, don't forget, come in here and show us your new renders, dude, if you want. You're more than welcome anytime to be like, yo, I just rendered this. Boop! You could post that as here. I'll give you a regular, man. Like, if you want a way to get the word out, dude, just be like, yo, EJ, I got new renders. I will never not click on that, man. As a former 3D artist. Man. All right. So, guys, I'm going to go get this done. I don't think it's probably going to be a while. So, I'm probably going to be gone for the night. I will see you guys tomorrow for a nice big summer car fest from there. Yeah, we'll do part 2. Or part 3?
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
You get the idea. All right. Don't push yourself too much. We need you. I'll be here. Yeah, no, Wendy. Not coming back for streaming is doing just that. So, good night, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Grind out summer car. And we'll go from there. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Have a good night.